NUFC Early Night News with Gary DeJordy Yum Yum, Andrew Boki, Christina Cage, and Derek the Mighty Wind. Weekdays from 8 p.m. UK, 2 p.m. USA. NUFC Talk.
Good evening, one and all.
Hey.
It's the Geordie Yum Yum Gaza in the NUFC Talk channel. Obviously, welcome all aboard the usual crew with me tonight. The Mighty Win, we've got Boki, and we've got Christina Tuna back from the hills. The hills of eyes, I suppose, is the one. I hope you had a lovely bank holiday. Yeah, I'm going to say, I hope not. It's the wrong term.
I had a lovely bank holiday. Thank you very much for asking.
Very good. We did miss you. As always, we did explain to everybody that you thought, sod you. It's bank holiday. I'm staying
That's
out.
not what I thought.
I'm joking. I hope everybody in the chat is well. And like I say, a couple of things. Please smash that like button for us as we go through the show. And like I say, if you haven't already, subscribe because, like I say, it helps us out massively. Those two things. You don't have to do anything else. If you want to do the contributions, as in giving us some super chats, that's superb. But like I say, bring on just the two things free: subscribe and smash the likes. That'll be fantastic. So anyway, let's get on with tonight's show because, like I say, breaking news a little bit earlier. Just when you thought Newcastle were calming down, bang! Reality taps you on the shoulder again. Win at the weekend, smiles back, bit of belief creeping in, and then today, your best young midfielder gets out injured. Your best young fullback being lined up for a 60 million raid, and half of Europe suddenly fancies your best winger. Oh, and in the background, the club's quietly rebuilding everything. Tonight isn't about one result, it's about whether Newcastle United are evolving or about to get picked apart. So, I mean, guys, I suppose for those that don't know, the big news coming out of the camp is that Miley has fractured his fibula. His season's gone. They're expecting him back in pre-season, which is a good thing. But we've all heard that before. Oh, it's only a slight injury with Miley, and he was out for 3 months. I mean, listen, the way I look at this isn't an injury. I think this has been a development interruption. I think he's fitted really well into that right-back situation. And I think Eddie Howe had looked potentially to say, as he did with J7, let's find. He's too good to be on the bench, but I've got too good a midfield to not include him. So we are struggling at right back, and like I said, I think he's fitted in there really well. He's still raw. The kid's still learning, but he's going to be a big miss. I mean, we've got 3 games left. Yes, we've got Trippier, but we've got nobody else, and I think that is the worry for me. I mean, distal fibular fractures are they're common in football. Recovery time is typically 8 to 12 weeks. The big issue for me is, like I said, it's not about the actual injury. Fracture's a lot better than having a tendon repair and things like that. It's just that development time. Guys, when you heard this, what's your thoughts now you've heard this now? Let's say we talk about Eddie Howe not using youngsters, and we look at Eddie Howe always wanting to throw a blanket over them. I do think Miley, because of his size, is probably more injury prone or potential injury prone. We've seen in the past where literally just him trying to get pace in his game, where he knackers, he gets that fracture in his foot. He's now obviously got this fracture to the lower third of the fibula. I don't know the full extent, I don't know the actual injury, but it's usually from a twist, a turn, and the fibula obviously being the smaller bone at the back of your shin, your tibula. It's one that's very rarely protected if you get kicked in the back of the calf. It's obviously something that's happened in training. Won't know the full extent until obviously you hear from Eddie Howe himself. But how does that make you guys feel now?
Well, fortunately, there's only 2 games to go. Well, 3 games to
3,
go.
yeah.
So, and if you're saying, and I bow to your superior medical knowledge, of course, 10 to 12 weeks, he'll be comfortably back by the start of the season. One would have thought, if what you're saying there is correct. So that's kind of good news. Like I say, we're only missing up for 3 games. could it be a chance for young Shahar to come in and show us what he's got?
Yeah, good shout.
We've got him. But lots of people wanting, including Borky, of course, wanting him to be given a chance. So maybe he'll get one. Who knows? But we've got Trips there, and I think we could rely on Trips for 3 games.
Yeah, it's not that you could rely on him. I think it's whether he's still got 90 minutes in the locker per game.
Yeah.
That's the worry.
You're devastated for the kid himself, aren't you? He's had
Absolutely.
he's had a couple of breakthroughs. He's had like a sort of staggered breakthrough season, if you like, over the last 2 years. And then this season he's got injured a couple of times, and as soon as he starts getting in, he seems to have this little setback. He's obviously a great player. He's obviously, a local lad who wants to play for Newcastle United. It's really upsetting news. But as Wynne says, to be honest, what's the point in playing Trippier for these last 3 games? Yes, give him that massive send-off at St. James's Park, and yes, give him a massive send-off at Fulham. So, bring him on for the last 5 minutes. But let's be honest, let's play as Wynne said, Shaw, and let's see what that lad can do. What's the worst that can happen with these games?
What's the point? The point is we've got 9 points to play for.
But come on, we're not getting anywhere, If we're
not with your attitude, we're not. If you're throwing those points away already.
Hang on. Not with your attitude, we're not, because I've said change the manager. I've said we should have changed. I didn't think to get into this early, but I've said.
I was going to say, we're 7 minutes in.
Get things right,
Yesterday.
But we've not done it. We've stuck with what we've got. We're sticking with what we've got now, it looks like. If that's the case,
we went back to what we did well, and we've got 3 points.
We've gone back, exactly. No, we've gone back, you're quite right. We've gone back to where we were when Eddie first came in.
Exactly.
And we're now closer to a relegation battle than we are to getting anywhere else. But what's the point in playing a 30-odd-year-old when you've got a youngster who you can give a chance? And as I say, what we've got to lose this season, chuck him in. Chuck Murphy in. And let Neve have a couple of games as well. Let's give youth a chance.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Simple. Not when there's points to play. Not when there's European places to play for.
I mean, I can see what both of them are saying, to be fair. I mean, yeah, I guess there is an outside opportunity that we make Europe. But to be fair, I mean, I'm more along the lines of why not give Leo Shahar a chance? It's going to take more than a right back to get those points for Europe. So if playing him is going to completely scupper our chance of Europe, then our problems are probably bigger than a right back. Maybe give Trips the first game, see how the results are going, and then if not, then give Shahar the last 2. I think the most worrying thing for me in regards to Lewis Miley, obviously also gutted for the guy because he's a young lad. He loves playing for Newcastle United. He's as Boki said, a breakout star for the team, and he just seems to be hampered by injuries. But here's the thing with this is that we're kind of taking they've made a prediction, the medical team, on because of the type of injury that it is, how long he's going to be back for. And we've got Gary here who knows a lot about the medical side of football. But Gary, what's the normal turnaround on a dead leg? Because let's not forget, Lewis Miley's dead leg.
Yeah, but that's the thing, you see. I mean, there's 3 different grades to muscle injuries, and it depends on the damage caused to the muscle fibres. And the problem is because, your quad, the biggest muscle in your body, I mean, you are going to get that, prolonged period. And if they, again, without knowing the full extent, I can't really give you an exact answer. The only thing that really annoyed me was the fact that it never seemed to be true. Eddie Howe was just protecting the news, so the opposition coach wouldn't really know whether he was back or not. I understand that bit. What I didn't understand was every time you listened to Eddie speak, couple of weeks he'll be back, and then 3 months later, it's like, oh, here we go. But muscle injuries can take a hell of a long time. And that's what I said. If you think that anything like a Achilles tendon, can take, up to 18 months to get you back fully fit. I suppose 8 to 12 weeks is a walk in the park compared to. So that is. I mean, the only thing, like I said, for me, I just think he was doing really well as that makeshift right back, and I just think it's that progression pause, if you like. And what effects does it give a young kid mentally? Because like I said, by the time he comes back, there could be a lot of movement, a lot of change in and around Newcastle. So, and again, I'm not saying that Miley's name hasn't cropped up. Miley's name has cropped up in a number of interested parties elsewhere across Europe. So it proves that the kid's got the ability.
You think Miley just needs to bulk out a little bit? He's going to get these niggly little injuries at the minute because he's not fully developed as a, you forget how young he is. Does he just need that little bit? When you look at him, he's not gangly, but he hasn't got that muscular feel about him. Does he need that little bit more, of a turning into a full adult, and then he'll be okay? Is it that we're waiting for him?
Well, they said
I think
he put a stone on last close season, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. But I'm saying he's still not. He still looks, for a 6'4" lad. He's gangly. Maybe he just needs that little bit of bulking out, and then he'll be the player that we all hope he'll be for the next few seasons. Fully fit and playing forward.
Yeah, and I think that is the thing. You see, I mean, it's a big. There's always going to be a question mark about growth plates and everything else, especially a lad of his size. We've already seen, the likes of Dan Burn because of his size. Sorry, was it Anderson who had the stress fracture, or was it Dan Burn? Can't remember now. One of them had a back fracture, didn't they? Or was that Lewis Miley?
No, Burn had the back.
I can't remember now.
It was Burn, I think.
Yeah, I mean, these things happen, and that's what I said. Sometimes you've got, it's just the way you're made, if you like. You have got airline fractures that just seem to give you a little bit of discomfort, and as long as they don't dislodge, you continue. This is, I'm hoping, literally not a displaced fracture. It literally is just an airline fracture. Hence, I'm saying 8 to 12 weeks. If it was anything that needed to be pinned, then you could be talking a little bit longer. It's a shame. That's all I'm saying, because, like I say, it just adds a little bit more fuel to Eddie Howe's pressure, if you like, especially if he's been cloned to get results by PIF over these last 3 games just to secure next season. Even though there's lots of talk out there now, I just get to that point now where I just look at it and think, has Eddie Howe got? Is he right for not giving the youngsters game after game after game and protecting them, or is it the fact that he's just stubborn? That's always going to be the question mark. Yeah. Does he overprotect? I mean, for me, developing youngsters is all about giving them 10, 15 minutes and see if they have got the ability to get up to that next level. There's always going to be a blanket thrown over it, a question mark towards it. Gary Mister has put, is that Gary's Imister or Gary's Simister? There you go.
Simister, I think.
Along with European football, is mathematically possible. You can't be charity case to young players. So as long as you're saying, as long as there's a mathematical chance of getting into Europe, you've got to take each game as it comes. And it's like, I suppose, as daft it looks, Spurs, are looking at it. I mean, even now, Nottingham Forest are still relegation fodder. So. Yeah, until you're mathematically safe, you've got to go.
Just where we did the chat there. Can I just say welcome back to Toon Army? I haven't seen you for a while in the chat, mate. I'll try not to upset you too. I'll try not to upset you too much tonight with me comments.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome on board as always. What was you saying, mate?
Yeah, Elliot, it was October 23, stress fracture to his back.
Yeah, I thought it was Elliot. And that's what I said, he was a young boy then. And that's what I said. Sometimes these things just grab you and they obviously thwart your progression, if you like.
Well,
let's move on to
let's hope that the Miley injury thwarts his progression as much as it did Anderson's.
yeah, yeah.
Let-
There is always that. In
let's hope Miley's injury isn't as bad as this hip injury that Gordon seems to have. That's keeping him out of game after game. You know,
Gordon's body just wasn't picked.
Let's hope it's not as bad as that. 'Cause I worry about Gordon and that injury with him. How far could that
See,
go? It'd be really.
I still
How
think
far's
it's financial.
Barcelona?
Yeah, I still think this is financial. I really do. I think there's a financial sidewalk to this one with the amount of teams that are vying up for his signature. But let's move on to the transfer potentials then, because read today, and again, my mate Connor in the background has also read this report that Lewis Hall is a 16 million interest from Manchester United because they're looking to replace Shaw. I did mention this before. It was something that was spoken to me when, like I say, when we were out. I was talking to that Manchester United scout, and they were saying that Lewis Hall was deeply on their radar. I did say that to you guys, but again, it's another thing that I've read today where 60 million quid is the mark, is the type of price that they've put on his head. Do you buy? Do you sell Lewis Hall at 60 million quid? I wouldn't.
Nowhere near.
Certainly not. The only way that transfer goes through is if there is legitimately a falling out between Eddie Howe and Lewis Hall. And that would be where I would start having question marks about Eddie Howe. If he's falling out with our best players and forcing us to sell them for under what I would consider their market value. And I know that I don't hold much sway or authority when it comes to what players are worth, but if Wissa is worth £65 million, then Lewis Hall is worth £165 million plus a brand new Ferrari. Like, there are levels to this game.
Yeah, I like it. Obviously, the thumbnail, and I'm sure the boys will get into. I'm going to be talking a bit more about everything else, but you saw the thumbnail, so we might as well talk about it.
Shout out to Prosaic, by the way.
Prosaic and
sorry, yeah, go for it.
Membership, but I haven't had a notification yet who it's gone to.
Yeah, I tried to find that a minute ago. I can't see that either. It's just popped out of random.
It hasn't come up at all, has it? I'm just having a.
Because we don't control that. YouTube control where there was gifted memberships go to. It's got to be to somebody who's currently watching the show. But who it goes
got to be live.
They've got to be live, but the notification hasn't come through for some obscure reason. But thank you all the same. Prosaic is a legend.
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
If we sell Hall for 65 million, that's an absolute disgrace, to be honest. He's the future of this club. He wants to play forward. He wants to be the player. He wants to be, a big player. You can see that in him. He's got that little bit of, arrogance about him, if you like, the little bit of, fight about him. If we let him go for that much, we will regret that. I think that could possibly be the biggest regret we've got in the last 20 years of selling a player.
I've said the three untouchables for me are Gordon, Hall, Bruno, and Miley, even though he's currently, unfortunately, indisposed.
Yeah, like I say, there's certain ones you want to start building a team around, especially if you're going for the younger age group. And again, if Eddie Howe does stay in tenure, you want somebody with the legs to match what he wants to obviously tactically play. I just find, like I say, with all this speculation, especially when it comes to the point of being a poor season, players. I've mentioned it many a time. I don't think Gordon is a bad player. You wouldn't get the teams that are effectively in for Anthony Gordon. Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. All top tier teams, Champions League potential winners, if you like. If they're all vying for this lad's signature, they see something in him. The problem is at Newcastle now, as a supporter, we don't see anything in him because he's used us as a stepping stone. That is what young players do.
Forget about going for a minute, go back to Hall. You look at Hall, though. Why would you want to hang around at a club that all of a sudden, you've got Dan Burn, who's 35 years old, can't run for toffee, and the manager's picking him over you at left back, and that's your natural position. That's the issue we're going to have, is how the hell does the manager turn around to Hall and say, I can justify this, when he's picking somebody who his best position's at centre-back, and if you want to play Burn at centre-back, I've got no problem with that. But he's picking him at left-back over yourself, who's fully fit. That's the major issue here. But why is Eddie Howe doing that?
For me personally, I think with this game more than the last game, because obviously I still saw him marauding across on a diagonal, Dan Burn, left to right-hand side, which he didn't really need to do. But this game, the weekend against Brighton, was more, like I said, a solid 4-4. And he didn't want Brighton to get down the width, which, like I said, Minte, we all thought was going to absolutely tear Burn a new one. Had to change sides in the end and go against Miley to try and get anything there. And nothing really happened for him until, like I say, the dying minutes when he put that one over the bar. Thank you ever so much, was that, Christina?
By the way, at which point Paul was on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Christina, you bring me sunshine on this rainy day. We did go to a back five.
Thank you,
we haven't had any rain today.
Oh,
It's a bit dull. It's a bit overcast here.
Oh, we've had rain.
Have you?
You've had rainbow.
But
Oh, we have.
Oh.
Come to sunny Gospel.
I live near Boki. Are you sure I've had rain? Did I miss that? Did I sleep through that?
You made it been at work.
Oh, I've been at work, yeah.
You
I
keep
think,
the rain away, Tina. That's what it is.
You bring sunshine to people's hearts. There you go.
You've been up in them hills.
I've been up in them hills.
Hills and alive. Brian saying Burn equals height. And that's what the manager wanted in his team, Boki. That was simple.
That's what he said.
I
in the
mean,
Arsenal
listen.
game.
He did, absolutely. And I think that was, I say, justified. I don't think it was justified against Arsenal because, like I said, they didn't put anything in the box to justify his inclusion. But again, that's what managers do. They get this thing, these coaches get this thing imprinted, embedded into the mindset, and they have to try and formulate a tactic to try and stop the opposition. And then all of a sudden, that isn't their game plan. That's what happens in football. You get found out. I just think, like I say, it worked to a degree against Brighton because nobody come down the left-hand side, nobody really come down the right-hand side, but it was easy for them to come through the middle for their goal. And that's what I said. Sometimes, even when you get to that point towards the end of the game, you're still feeling a bit comfortable being 2 goals up. Once you concede, there was tremors in that stadium. There was tremors here, live commentary. I'll tell you, my heart was pounding. Boki, go on, mate.
The chat are going there. What we wanted was hate in the team. Why didn't he play with best striker? Why didn't he play Voltemora? If he wanted hate in that team, why wasn't Voltemora in the team? So if you want to play a team, if you want to play a team with hate,
in defence,
go with your best players who have got hate, and your best player in this whole squad who's got hate is Voltemora. So
yeah, but the last time
you can argue. If you're arguing it one way, argue it the other way.
Yeah, and what happened the last time he played in defence with his lovely hate?
Who?
The Mackhams
scored an own goal against the Mackhams.
for the wrong team.
Yeah, exactly.
It does. So we'll never play Voltemora again because he happened to score an own goal against the Mackhams.
Keep
Come on,
out your own penalty.
Ridiculous argument. Absolutely ridiculous argument.
It's an argument, though, Boki. That's what I'm saying. It is an argument. And on this channel, everybody can argue about the simplest thing. Sandro Tonali, still interest being built in and around Sandro Tonali. Again, what I've noticed with Sandro Tonali, there's only a couple of clubs ever want to come forth. One being Manchester United. I don't think they'll be able to afford him, if I'm honest with you. But the other one's really interesting because it's just a question mark. But there is a team out there across Europe that is keeping her eye on War Tonali. It's going to be a really interesting one. So, if this was to happen, when you underperform, is it then the club just becomes a shopping list? And that to me is where you are. You've got young players, young internationals. Some people will say have been created by Eddie Howe. Some people will say it was just development. They've been given the opportunity to play on a regular basis, and they have now shone in a side doing well. But have they shone in a side that is struggling? And that is where I keep on saying what you're seeing from both our fullbacks. It's not just Lewis Hall, it's Tino as well. When the going gets tough, these kids are only good going forward and moving the ball forward. They're not great defenders. So whatever team is interested in these kids, they won't be interested. I mean, you look at Núñez at Man City. I was watching with one eye last night against Everton, if I'm honest with you. And I must admit, Everton played really well. Again, dying seconds where they concede goals. Again, similar thing. Even Moy says if we can stop conceding in the last 15 minutes, we'd be up in the Champions League spot. Probably a little bit tongue in cheek, if I'm honest. But I mean, I understand the sentiment. These kids are running out of steam right towards the end. My biggest problem and my concern with both Hall and their wing backs. They're wing backs because of the way they use the ball. They're not defenders. They're not fullbacks. And if Eddie Howe wants to play a system and have them in as fullbacks, then you're leaving yourself wide open because you haven't got the cover in the defence to cover both corners. So for me, as much as I agree with you guys, they are fabulous footballers, but I don't class them as fabulous defenders. Now, I'd like to know what your angle is on this because, like I say, £60 million doesn't seem a lot for Lewis Hall. But what do you play him as? If any club's coming in for Lewis Hall, are they coming in for him as a wing back or a full back? Because, like I said, I don't think Lewis Hall is the greatest defender full back I've ever seen.
But he's not a bad defender. He's not a shocking defender. He's not a great defender. But he's an effect. Most of the time, he's an effective defender. Simply because of his athleticism, he's there or thereabouts. But he's had some torrid games, as has Dan Burn.
I could totally get it if you were saying that about Tino Livramento. I don't think he's a good defender, but I think Lewis Hall genuinely is. I mean, he kept Yamal out of a game. He tracks back. I think defensively, Lewis Hall is our best wing back, if you want to call him that. I think other teams who come in for him will probably be taking advantage of his versatility, though. I think he's a fantastic left back. I think he could probably do a job in centre midfield. We know that he can. And he could probably do a job as a winger as well. Like, that versatility's got to be attractive to any team that would sign him.
But you look at that chance he created for Wissa when he was playing a wing back. Yeah. That's where you see the full value of Lewis Hall. He takes three defenders or three opponents on, clears the ball down the line for that pace, and then he puts a pinpoint pass into Wissa, who unfortunately missed a misser. And that's the problem. When you want to put people on a pedestal and give them a pat on the back, when they lose that assist, because they've done the graft, they've done the work for you, but the end product's missed by somebody else, we don't think about it. We don't mention it because it was a never event. It's like a lot of teams. If you go through a full season and you finish second, a great thing from Pep Guardiola the other night when they drew with Everton, nobody will remember us finishing runners-up. They only ever remember you winning the title. They only ever remember you winning a cup. They only ever remember you winning the Champions League. They'll never remember you as a runners-up. Go on, Mac.
Look at fullbacks. You've got choices. So you could have like a Lee Dixon and a Nigel Winterburn, who were solid defenders. They were solid defenders before they went forward. Good
forward, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, could do things when they got there, but their stock and trade was they were their defenders. That's not
the main aim.
Yeah,
No, exactly.
But they had two fantastic midfielders in front of them.
Yeah, but we have a different system. We're saying to our full-backs, look, we know you're not perfect in defence. We can forgive you them little frailties as long as you get with the chances going forward. And that's what them lads give you. And let's face it, they do. They give you good chances going forward. The biggest problem is that most of them chances come on the left-hand side, no matter which one of them plays. So, they're both better on the left-hand side. But, if you look at it, the reason that we've got those two players is because they're better at going forward, as you say, than they are defending. The major issue is that we don't have the players up front that can play off them.
Exactly. And that's what I said. You want to praise them for the work that they're doing and committing to the team. And then, unfortunately, it's not coming off. And like I say, it is a difficult one. I mean, I'd love to see you left me out, Jefferson. You filthy,
You rascal.
That's the one. You rascal, indeed. You filthy animal. I'm sure he'll include you, he's on his Hall of Fame at the background there. I mean, it is like the CIA's most wanted,
I've got him on
if I'm honest with you. Yeah, there you go. Was a rules, indeed. Listen, I do think this club is in a situation now where we're going to find ourselves in no man's heath if we ain't careful, because, like I say, there isn't a lot of energy coming away from, the club, as in we're doing brilliant, and that's why I said the next 3 games for me are not just to keep Eddie Howe in situ. It's got nothing to do with who remains manager. The biggest thing for me is getting momentum for the younger lads that are potentially our future to stay in a black and white shirt. I don't mind us being a selling club, but I can't believe we could get to a point where we have to rebuild an entire squad and start from scratch. Because for me, I think that will be Eddie Howe's last moments at this club, if I'm honest with you, if he does lose all his players.
Well, I mean, you have no club to manage, really, so there'll not be much point having a coach if you haven't got no players. Oh, we've only got youth players. Eddie's just selecting random animals that he sees walking past the pitch. I'm going to put a dog up front. You're just going to give Leo Shahar a go. No.
Yeah, as long as you don't put me and Boki and Win up front, I'll be on the left-hand side.
We've got a team here for you, Eddie. But no, I mean, obviously, it's for me, Lewis Hall would be the big kind of litmus test of that. If he can't reconcile things with one of our most exciting players, then we need to start looking at that, because I know that PIF see Eddie Howe as still having a strong future at this club, and to be honest, I do too. I can totally get it. If he can change the things that they're asking him to change and can bring back some of those glory years, absolutely. I'm very, very far from being the type of person who would ever say Eddie out. However, if you asked me to choose who I want more next season, Lewis Hall or Eddie Howe ain't winning that argument. I'll say that straight faced,
Absolutely. There you go. From wingman to wingman in one form, swoop, literally.
In one foul swoop, literally.
There you go. See, I can't. I don't know what it is, but that's.
But yeah, you've still got your fan club there. Ads is in saying Borky,
there you go.
Eddie Nightmare, and
no
time soon, son. No time soon.
When the happy clappers finally wake up, ads. So 2033, when we're still saying we've got a new 5-year plan.
So are you blaming the fans there, Borky?
We're planning on having a new stadium, and there might be a new training ground soon.
Did you just blame the fans there?
I think you did.
I blame the happy clappers.
Would you like to explain that?
And we're not fans, I wouldn't.
Of course I would.
No, let him explain himself. Go on. How does a happy clapper make any difference to who the manager of Newcastle United is?
Because what progression are we seeing in this season? What progression have we seen over
the
last
few seasons? The question I asked you for the jury, the question I asked the defendant here was in what way you can tell I've had my coffee today, can't you? I'm
going to say. What coffee?
Fans to blame for who the manager of Newcastle United is?
Well, what way I'll answer this is the way Win answers questions. So I would say the reason that the happy clappers are to blame is because people like me for a little bit, Jeff has for a lot longer, have been saying things aren't good enough. Things have to change.
And what
You
difference
guys
did that
been,
make?
but you guys have just been happy enough to go along with it.
And what you said yesterday,
What
only
difference?
yesterday, was we should be 5th or 6th.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, how should we be 5th or 6th?
By having a better manager.
I mean, let me just point out, and
How
I've
will
done
that
this on
make us 5th or
purpose, by
6th?
the way.
Because a better manager would be progressing this squad. He would be able to, they might not be a man, they would be able to, make the right substitutes at the right time. They'd
And
be able to
meanwhile,
rotate
Arsenal,
the squad.
Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Chelsea, they won't be doing the same.
Exactly the same, but a good manager would be doing better than them. Have Chelsea been good this season? Hang on. No.
We should have a better manager than any of them big four clubs.
When Michael Carrick took over at Man United, where were Newcastle and where were Man United?
Well, they were virtually level on points.
And where are we now?
We're a few points behind them, yeah. We've had a
A
bad
few
season.
points behind them. Come on, how many points are we behind them?
Just to get back to the question, though.
So so to roll that point on, you talk about having a great manager. Well, there's been a rookie manager when at Man United, if you like, somebody who hasn't really managed much in the Premier League and has done a much better job than Eddie Howe has for the rest of this season.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely spot on.
No argument.
No argument. I mean, like I said,
the point.
the only
Man
thing.
United.
Well,
So
it's
Man
not even
United,
that.
You
The
would
only.
expect Man United under this super manager to be better next season as well, wouldn't you?
Can I just ask you?
Man United must, for Carrick to be a success, Man United have got to finish second or champions next season.
Do you know
How many Manchester United fans picked Carrick for the manager? Do you think?
I love the fact that I come on here now, and in regards to in the past, I've been the one that's been frustrated trying to get answers out of you guys. And now it's you guys coming at me the other way around because you're trying to justify.
You still haven't answered Tina's question. You're blaming the fans. How are happy clappers to blame for the fact that Eddie's still going to be manager next season?
Because if you should have been booing him at in January and December when things were going absolutely
so we're bad fans for not booing the team in the stadium.
100%. If you care about Newcastle, you don't care about Eddie Howe. You don't just go in there and just go, Eddie Howe's black and white army to.
Yes, you do.
You don't. No, you don't. You go in there and realise there's things going wrong and realise that there's no turnaround. And there's no turning around from this point. Let's face it, we all know Eddie Howe will be here next season.
So you believe that
he's not going to turn it around. He'll be gone by hopefully as quickly as possible, but he'll be gone at some point next season.
So hopefully as quickly as possible. So you're hoping Newcastle do badly next season?
Not at all, but I'm foreseeing the will. Like I did this season.
You just said hopefully.
Yeah, I'm going to move you guys on. I've just got some more news regarding Lewis Miley. Obviously, we know about the miss. It's to his right leg. Again, I said lower third. It usually happens either with a twist or a tackle. It is his right leg, apparently, during training on Tuesday. He will travel to a specialist consultant on Wednesday, so tomorrow. So we did it this morning during the training session to his right leg, so it's his natural kicking foot. So there you go. He has got to go see a specialist, so we won't know any more until we hear news. That's come directly from Newcastle from that, and it was Dan who threw it out there. So thank you very much for giving us the update. There has been a few events behind the scenes, I suppose, and I suppose it's a recruitment reset. A new appointment all the way from Oxford. Scott Mitchell has come under the wing of Ross Wilson. He's going to be looking after the younger aspects of Newcastle United, if you like. Again, not everybody's cup of tea when you look at this, but he's a Football League scout, if you like, from Oxford. He's a chief scout. He become head of recruitment for players between the ages of 18 and 21, and he's going to be the one working closely with Ross Wilson internally to try and find these young fledglings, if you like, from lower league, what the Class B, if you like. Some people will jump on that and say, we don't want them. But you've got to remember, like the likes of Dele Alli. I'm not saying he's a good player now. Obviously, he's not. He's gone. But when he was playing lower leagues, Alex Scott, another one. There is good players that can fit in the Premier League. You've just got to find them. And like I say, this young lad comes with quite a decent backing, if I'm honest with you. He's data-led regarding his scouting, which supports him. He's got that lower league market expertise. He has a good eye for value when it comes to identification. And again, I questioned you guys before about us becoming more of a Brighton blueprint. I'll ask it again. Is this the Brighton style of recruitment? Because to me, it looks like we're mirroring them.
Where do we go with that one? Brighton, historically, as I've said a million times, all of their stellar recruitment has been done in South America. So I'm not sure what Scott Mitchell expertise is there. So as for mirroring Brighton, I'm not quite sure. I'd be interested, and obviously I'll look it up now that you've mentioned it. I'd be interested to know who he has scouted of any note. How many, for example, Oxford players have come through their youth setup to play for Oxford? I don't know that, which is that could be a barometer of how effective he is, albeit, we want to be on a slightly higher playing field than what Oxford are playing on. Even I would accept that.
This lad is more aligned to the building collaborative frameworks, if you like, with coaches and analysts.
Corporate speak.
You can go out and scout the best players in the world and you can bring them into your club. You can go out and get the best young players that you can in every league. But what's the thing they need to do? Well, it's not. Here's the thing. What has to happen for them to become? Why do Brighton get this? Is because their managers give the youth a chance to play them. If Brighton were going into the last 3 games of the season and didn't have a right back, would they play a 35-year-old or would they give a youngster a chance in that manager? I think they'd give a youngster a chance.
Well, they would have a right
back. Come on. The only way it works if you're going to buy young players in is if they get to play. And if I honestly think about it, next season, if we went into next season and Pope's still there and we bought a young keeper and he'll play Pope, if Byrne's still there and he's bought a young centre back in, he'll play Byrne. If Murphy's still there and he's brought a young right winger and he'll play Murphy, he plays with he's tried and trusted. He doesn't try new players, and that's the big issue. You need a manager who's willing to give the youth the game time.
Yeah, I mean, Niall's put it in there. Wim was just talking about all the players. I don't think anything regarding him himself has picked up at any stars. I think what he's looking to do, and again, we're talking about, you guys were mentioning the elite word quite a lot in the later part of the show last night. A lot of elite clubs do this, and what I mean by that is about bridging the gap. We all sat here and complained, we were talking to Tina not so long back about what Paul Mitchell was having to do regarding the director of football role or sporting director's role. At Newcastle, where he had to look and oversee a multitude of jobs, if you like. And we found out it was only literally last year that we had a director of football in the ladies' team now. And I think this is that next step. Every club needs a step, so it just bridges the gap. And I'm not saying any of these players that get picked up by this lad, another Mitchell, he's literally just there to go out and have a look at grassroots, and then it'll be up to Ross Wilson to see if they're good enough. So, like I said, it just bridges that gap, and it allows Ross Wilson to concentrate more on the first team. this guy will go out there with our analysts and look at, again, the lower tiers, the B teams, if you like. And like I said, there is some, there has been some gold stars come through it. And we all were talking not so long back about Semenyo. I mean, you look at Semenyo's history and where he went to play football, to get full-time football before he reached the high roads. And it was, like I said, Dele Alli was another one. 1-0 to Arsenal, by the way, Bayako Saka with the goal. Thanks, Brian. And Connors just threw it in as well. So, like I said, I just think this is just that extra stepping stone for Newcastle. Like I said, they want to try and get behind the scenes sorted. They want to bridge those gaps that was obviously stretching the likes of Paul Mitchell previously. So I don't think this is a bad thing. But like I say, it doesn't come with a great deal of historical signings, put it that way. So only the future will give us any proof in the pudding if it works or doesn't.
And
I think somebody was just putting
to improve themselves, haven't you? Like, he's coming in and people can say, oh, he doesn't really have any history of doing this, but he's obviously getting brought in. He'll get told what his job is, and then he'll have to do that role, like whatever he's supposed to be doing. He's going to have to adapt to learn to do that, and his best years of doing this role might be ahead of him. Like, we can't always base things purely on history. Like, if you looked at Jose Mourinho before he became the manager of Porto, or what teams had he won any trophies with? Well, none, because he'd been a translator for 6 years. But it turned out he was a heck of a manager. So I think that's the same thing you've got to look at with this. Is this guy doesn't have a history of unearthing anything, but 10 years from now, people could be talking about, do you remember when that lad found all them mini players for Newcastle? So his history writes itself every day, doesn't it?
Yeah, and Trolls, he's putting in there.
Are we getting the best that we can? Are we getting who we have to have? Because the best that we can, we'll probably look at it and think, hang on, I could go out and pick the best young players out of anywhere in any league. But unless the manager gives them a chance, what the hell's the point in bringing them in? Do we get the best, or do we get somebody who's willing to work along the roots of the manager that we have, who is somebody that won't give youth a chance?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and again, I hate keep repeating myself.
The fans' fault as well, isn't it?
I just think sometimes, you've got to start somewhere. You've got to start filling these voids with someone. And Connor's just put in the chat to me here, Scott Mitchell bought in as he's worked well within a tight budget. But obviously in lower leagues, they haven't got budgets. So they have to go and find players that will suit that ilk. And like I said, I'm sure there's been players that he has seen that has been out of the league, if you like, regarding monies to go into the likes of. I think his background's Ipswich, if memory serves me right. I think he's a lad that started his career at Ipswich and then has gone to Oxford under this new role. And like I say, he's worked within this tight budget, and it seems to help them. And like I said, I don't know much about this kid, and I don't know whether it's going to be the right fit. But like I say, Newcastle have to start somewhere. And he's already signed a contract, apparently. He's going to be coming in very, very soon, because obviously the League Two, I think it's finished now, isn't it? Or is it next week? No, it's finished now, isn't it? So all League 1 and 2 is finished. So he'll come and start virtually straight away, because his contract will have virtually been voided now. But like I said, I mean, I know everybody's laughing. It's Oxford, yeah. But you've got to start somewhere. And like I say, he's not coming and picking first teamers. He's not Eddie Howe's nephew. He's not going to be involved in any first teamers. He is going to try and fill that void in the B section, and that's, like I said, that's something that we need to look at anyway. But I suppose
the big job is, do we not need to get rid of Shola Amiobi as well as this bloody the Bayern loans coach? Because his record is absolutely terrible. If you look at it, it's absolutely shocking. Surely enough, he has to be one that has to be looking to get replaced as well.
But did you see the thing that came out today about from the team that Sanusi's went to? And
Yeah.
the manager there was saying, oh, well, he hasn't got many games, but they've sent him over here to a new country. He doesn't know any of the players here, and he doesn't speak the language. And I was sitting there thinking, oh, goodness me, surely you've dropped an absolute clanger there. Like, did you vet any of these teams before you sent these players? Oh, yeah, no, it'll be fine. Send him out.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak the language, surely. No, it'll be fine, man. Just tell him to slay him, it'll be great.
Yeah. Incredible. I mean, and that's the thing, isn't it? You like I say, it is like putting square pegs in round holes with Shoulder at the minute. And again, that to me is an area that Newcastle have to get right if they are going to produce these youngsters and give them time abroad in Europe to get some game time in readiness for them to step into the Premier League. That has to be right. The places that these kids are going to has to be spot on. Going over to PIF, because like I say, I am weary of the time and we've got still quite a bit to get through, believe it or not, even though it's been a quiet day. Public Investment Fund apparently has said that they would value the club at around about £1 billion, but there's no sale. The commitment has been confirmed. Again, there's been a lot of noise with the Live Golf scenario. Again, I was questioned this morning by Posty saying, are you worried about them pulling out? And I'm like, well, no. I mean, they use Live Golf as a power thing. I've got this much money and this is what I can do in sports. And it's a different mentality with the portfolio regarding Newcastle. So I have no issues. But again, they value at the club around £1 billion. So Amanda Stavely, if you're listening, I hope you've got two, because you're going to need the other £1 billion for spending. Does that kill the noise, guys? That's going around everywhere now about like PIF could be pulling out.
I don't see the point in PIF pulling out of the project at the minute. They've got a lot of money into the project, and they obviously are trying to do things. The only thing I would say is, will they spend money on what? Will they spend money on infrastructure? So I don't see them pulling out. I think the big worry is, do they move forward as a club in regards to infrastructure, or are we left as we are? Because, they don't see the profit or the potential in getting any bigger.
Mm. Yeah, I agree, mate. I mean, it is crazy to even consider, what they've done so far. I mean, we've always questioned, are they still interested because of what's happening across the East and with the war and everything else. I suppose at times they've probably got bigger fish to worry about, haven't they, rather than just what's happening in the northeast of of England. So I suppose with the Live Golf, like I say, I think for me that was just showing the power that these guys have financially. I don't think they've ever or will ever have the power to show it within the Premier League because of the constraints.
I think what the thing is, Gary, what they expected to do was come in and just throw the money at it. Get rid of the pinnacle of football. Spend that money, get a big stadium, get a big training ground. But it hasn't worked out that way because the Premier League scup at it. And, now they think to themselves, well, hang on, what's the point in we're going and building the big infrastructure for them when we're never going to get to that elite level, that high level? So there's a little bit of disappointment there in some ways.
Yeah, Terry's put in the chat there.
The way people are comparing the Live thing with Newcastle is completely different. They have lost literally billions on Live. They've actually, on paper, made money with Newcastle United. And that's been largely forced upon them by the fact of the rules that have been imposed upon them. They can't put any money. So they haven't put any money in. If you take away, everybody goes on about the £1 billion that it cost them to pay off the Bayern lawsuit, for the TV rates and that, the piracy thing, that enabled them to do the takeover in the first place. But that's actually ancillary. If you look at what they paid for Newcastle United, 300 million, and what it's worth now, and how much they've taken every year, they're into profit with Newcastle United, and they are an investment company who's in in business to make money outside of oil. And that's exactly what they're doing at Newcastle.
But as I've said to you in the past, Win, where does the money then come from? Them building that super stadium?
Well, it'll come from the revenue that stadium generates.
But the stadium won't the stadium won't generate enough revenue to justify its building for years and years and years.
I know it's a long term.
It's going to be what, at least probably 20 years. Is that what PIF are about? PIF are about quick investments in and out. They're not about
no, I don't think they are. In fact, PIF have said themselves they are about long-term investment.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you look at their portfolio,
they're not going to turn around and say, we want to flog these as quickly as possible if they've just bought them other. But let's face it, if somebody came in with a big enough offer,
that's exactly what they
sell.
would do. If they were in for a quick buck, that's exactly what they would do. Flog it now.
But what I'm saying is, under the likes of John Hall, when we wanted to extend the stadium, a lot of it was about him being a businessman and it being bragging rights. It being, look at my club, we're getting a lot bigger. Nowadays, it's not like that. You don't have those owners who love the area and want their club to be the best as the best. It's all about what's commercially right. That's
not
where
what John Hall was about. John Hall was about making money, and he made fortunes.
Yeah, but there was a love of Newcastle United there that isn't there with PIF. Don't get us wrong, I'm not calling PIF out on this, but you look at Jack Walker at Blackburn. You look at the likes of
and then you compare the football transfer fees. Then
what's his name down at Middlesbrough?
I know.
What is his name?
Gibson. He's still there.
Gibson. So you used to have owners that loved the club and were looking at it partly from the point of, yes, I want this to be the best club. I want it to be successful as a business. But part of it as well was, I want this club to be the best in the world.
Yeah, but
PIF's point is just completely about money. And there's nothing wrong with that. The Dun were great, and I love them as an entity. But, they're not the same as the old owners who were trying to build the biggest grounds as possible, get the biggest players as possible. Theirs is more about commercial revenues and what's best for them commercially.
Exactly. It is entirely about commercial revenue, and we are competing with clubs who are owned by corporations and consortiums who are all about making money. That's where we are. Yet we are not.
But hang on. That's what PIF are exactly. The clues in the title of what the name is. That's exactly what PIF are about. Profit.
Correct.
Investment. So the clues in the name
public
people who
public investment, not profit investment.
but all they are looking for is a profit on it.
Aye, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I'd love to have seen this. What Andy just put in there. The only PIF came to Newcastle before all the stupid rules that protect the Big Six, and to think Man City still have these purported charges against them, but nothing will never come of it. I mean, listen. I'll guarantee you the way things are with the North East. We are Becca plus
Bacardi, Carta Blanca.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm sure they would have changed the rules as soon as PIF come on board, if I'm honest with you, with the amount of money they've got. That's what I said. I mean, even if I'm saying if they come in earlier, I think it would have still been, the ruling would have changed to suit the mannerism. Anyway, talk about PIF and what they could do with their, finances. It looks like the stadium are getting some upgrades. 5G rollout. Finally, we'll have a signal in and around the ground eventually. Well, maybe anyway. Nothing's ever straightforward at Newcastle.
Not Nokia 3310.
There's new screens apparently. Brand new floodlights that come into the Toon. Food upgrades, accessibility improvements. They're doing lots of things. And as we were talking in the green room just before we came on air, are we now going to start seeing more things lined up at St James's Park? I mean, obviously, we've mentioned it before. We knew there wasn't a lot going to be happening until after 28 because of the Euros. But what they're trying to do now is obviously just sugarcoat it a little bit. The St James's Park, I mean, we know, it has looked a little bit run down at the best of times. It needs a few upgrades. It certainly needs, for me, more screens, especially for, to get the crowd informed and everything else. Apparently, there's a new PA system coming in as well, so you're going to be able to hear a little bit better when they throw tannoy announcements out of there. I mean, does this still? I mean, again, we talk about dangling the carrot in front of the donkey just as the news changes a little bit. Is this just another one of them sweeteners? Or do you believe that this can and will create more opportunities for finances with the likes of pop events, maybe boxing events or something like that?
Well, that's what Hodgkinson wants, isn't it? That's what he wants. Yeah, he's gonna go for it, isn't he? Commercially wise this year. So, in regards to, as you say, boxing, Gary, Sam Fender, that shows you make knowledge. That's the most up to date music.
Fan of Sam Fender, me like
Lewis Capaldi, people like that. Getting them into the stadium. You have to have an updated sound system, and you've got to have those lights. So you've got lights flashing everywhere. So I think, yes, it's great for the fans, but I think it's more towards what can this stadium be used for? Let's face it, who would have a place that you've got 52,000 seats and then 5 out of 7 days isn't used? Yeah, so it makes a lot more sense to get some gigs in there, get some things going on. And that's where that'll be the big money, where the money will come from. Because you look at the price when you're going to a gig now. I mean, the last time I went to see Right Said Fred, I had to pay £10 a ticket. So I mean, you get to see
Said Fred.
you get no, but if you're going to a stadium, you expect to pay.
I'm too sexy for my shirt. Sexy for my shirt.
Well,
there you go. Oh, look, Martin's in.
Martin's in from Mancunian Way saying, "Why are we
Hi,
guilty,
Martin.
Christina? Maybe stay off X and look into it properly. 115 is a made-up nonsense, and it's repeat offences." Oh, lost it.
Did I touch a nerve somewhat there, Mr. Mancunian, coming in talking about PSR rules being in there since 2014, while your club's staring at 15,000 charges of guilty rules and stuff? And plus, I don't use X because I've got a life. Like, who uses X?
Yeah, exactly.
Hang on.
This in 2016. Like, who's using X these days? Come on.
Let's go to Mancunian Way's point. If you're going to break a rule and you're going to say go out and pinch something, why pinch one sheep when you can have a full herd? So, if you're going to do something wrong, do it bloody properly would be my advice.
Well, there is that. I mean, you know what? The only thing that I hope...
The one thing you say about Martin is he defends his corner. 115 goes back to 2012 to 2021. Again, repeat charges, and Deloitte, KMPG, etc. are all part of those charges, which they are. And he says, you didn't hit a nerve, Tina, you simply need to talk. Oh, not you.
Can I maybe pick Mancunian Way up on one thing? Do you think he's a little bit upset because they've blew the league?
Well,
I'm
never coming on this show again with him now, but
yeah, I'm going to say, hitting below the belt now, you are. I mean, it is. I mean, it's incredible when you think. I mean, the only thing I hope that they keep the pyrotechnics to a minimum, because you can see Win lighting his tabs up off them flames from around the side of the pitch when they come on. He'll be like, I must admit, it did make me laugh when I was reading the comments about the upgrades, and somebody had made a comment, and because they were putting fans' comments into where they want the upgrades to be. They're making fresh toilets and things like that. They're doing a lot of work. But somebody said every time they go into the toilets, into the cubicles, they don't need to smoke. They've never smoked in their lives, but all they have to do is inhale. And I thought, Win, stay out of those cubicles, lad. It did make me laugh.
No, but I tell you what, listen. It proves that they're listening to the fans, because the number one complaint when they did the season tickets survey in terms of what they wanted, did they want lounge beds and all that to lie on and watch the back in fancy boxes? The number one complaint was the internet, and the number two complaint was TV screens.
And it'll really help. This channel will really be helped with the upgrades, because the Stana stairlift's getting a turbo. when Win's leaving, he can press it twice, and he's out of there, and he'll be back in plenty of time actually for the start of the show.
I'm getting an ejector seat apparently that takes me straight from my seat.
For real?
No, not for real.
Not for real. Okay.
Oh, Tina.
No, you can't just say things.
Oh, Tina. I love it. Getting on to the loan report then, because like I say, you had hit some of the story that I was going to pop tonight. But everybody was talking about Cordero. Finally, he gets a brace for Cadiz in the game, and obviously fighting relegation. So he's hit a bit of form recently. He has.
I thought that was Smokey telling you he got two when you said he got a brace. But it was him saying he's having a nip off or two.
See how it goes on tenterhooks now that I'm on the channel, people are like, oh, wait.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly.
Not understood words.
Yeah, so he's eventually come good in his time. I think let's say his first goals for Cadiz. He's had a bit of a mare, to be fair, since he's been there. But again, he's in a team that are struggling. And I think, like I said, you can't expect individuals to just shine in a team that's doing nothing, and we've seen that with Newcastle. Everybody's looking at Voltemada to be the next Messiah, and it just doesn't happen when you're not getting the service that you need to support. Trevan Sanusi, as you've just said, struggling at Laurent. Olivier Pantaloni saying that he's not ready. He's got a language barrier, and it's a tactical mismatch. And again, you go down to what Schouler's doing, and you have to ask yourself, when he puts players forward, is it just looking for a club? Does he play Championship Manager, do you think? And he thinks, well, these come in for him on the Championship Manager, I'll inquire. Because to me, I don't see that many successes from these loan expeditions. I'm going to call it an expedition because you might as well go in with your hat on and your safari suit, because they're certainly not a match made in heaven, is it?
No, he's doing the loans pretty much like a football game, isn't he? Like he's just you've got to send these players away on loan, and then they get good, and then you bring them back, and then you play them in your first team. No, surely you've got to make sure that the team you're sending to has some sort of technical setup that he can fit into, and that he can speak the same language as the manager. Like he's sending him somewhere to learn, but he's going to have to spend the first 6 months learning what's being said. Like, if anything, that's stagnating the guy's career. And don't get me wrong, I love Shola, but him doing this job is a bit like him when he used to try to take players on. You can see what he's trying to do, and you know he's possibly capable of it, but he just ain't never doing it. Ever. No. Regardless how many tries he has.
Did you see Connor's post yesterday on Cordero's loan move?
No.
Yeah, well, he had some quotes from the Malaga Sportivo, whatever the Malaga thing, and it was the Malaga manager saying that Cordero, since he arrived, was really struggling, as he would do, being a young kid, trying to adapt to their playing style, as opposed to what he'd had at Malaga and at Newcastle. and basically saying, unfortunately, Andy was also injured or something when he got there. Shortly after getting there, so he's really struggled to fit the system through no fault of his own.
Right. I didn't see that.
I mean, swear on here now or not?
Say again,
No.
sorry?
Are we allowed to swear now or not?
No.
Oh, because I
keep
would
it
say,
civil.
all right, then I would have said that Shola's playing career was a lot like his loan manager career. Absolutely,
Absolutely rubbish.
You know, I think we can put it in simple terms. Why Shola Miobi is seen as any sort of Toon legend, I've never ever got in my head at all. If anybody can ever come on here and if anybody can come on here and ever tell us, you know, why
Slayed the Mackhams. That's all he did his whole career.
Yeah.
He
Slayed
did.
the
No, listen,
Mackhams.
he's one of our top all-time Prem goal scorer.
He is.
No,
it's crazy.
Surely not. I remember him
He
scoring
is.
loads
He's
of
up in the list.
He is.
Surely not.
He was.
Got to check that. That kind of.
He's got to check that out. Yeah, you are.
But you've got to
Yeah,
compare the number of games he played as well. Martin's saying, "Don't worry, Book. You meet us anytime you want, and you can have a photo with some trophies." We have
I'll bring our one, mate.
I was gonna say, yeah. But don't scratch it, mate. Don't scratch it. Yeah, don't scratch it. I suppose there is a little bit of good news. Is we are second in one league. There you go. I'm going to put it on the screen. This is William Asula, second in the league with 5 goals in 589 minutes. That's a goal every 118 minutes, which puts him just behind Erling Haaland. I mean, what more can you ask? What a top striker he is.
You know what?
His return's good, you know.
I've got a feeling Sula might be the sleeping giant in our team.
Well, I hope you're right.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he could be that sleeping giant. I mean,
Now,
it just seems.
I think if you sit and watch him play, you'll always think he's. Well, how the hell's he playing football? But he's as I've said before, he's like Bambi on ice. His legs don't go in the right direction.
And he's done a good job, hasn't he?
And yet how many of our strikers would have scored the goals he scored this season? You know, and why is he the one being picked now? Because he's possibly our best striker at the minute, the best number 9. I think him with Baltimore playing behind him could be a hell of a playing style, hell of a team.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, he's certainly an uncanny watch. I mean, I've got to give another shout out to the under-18s again. Played today and again come out winners at 3-2 against Leeds. Certainly doing okay, our youngsters. And like I say, fingers crossed we can start to see the fruits of that tree starting to produce something for the first team. It'll be a nice little pat on the back for the work. I mean, like I say, this is where Paul Mitchell comes into his own. I must be honest, and that is where, like I say, you have to give massive credit. And there's been a lot of failures under 21s. I understand that. I mean, somebody put in the chat, Heffernan was this superstar, come from AC Milan. Everybody was talking big of him, and now he's doing his day job at Hartlepool. I mean, it's a bit of a come down to Italy.
How many of these youngsters who are winning all these trophies now, how many of them are down to Paul Mitchell? I'd like to know that.
Again, I don't know. I don't know the figures, but like I say, he did pull in a lot of players at the under 15s age group that are now playing in the under 18s age group, because that was, in effect, that's what they were trialing. They were trying to play players that were underage to the time that with the team that they're playing. So under 18s moved up to the under 21s, under 15s moved up to the under 18s, things like that. So there's a lot. 13 youngsters. There you go. Paul Mitchell brought in 13 youngsters. I've already done it for you. well, Connor has. Bless him.
Can I just quickly pick up on Still Bad Dad's comments? Great one. I totally agree with you for once. He plays like a footballer, like Tigger bounces about. He is. He's our Tigger, his elder
Yeah.
son. You know, he's
Absolutely.
the only one that plays in that sort. The only player I can think of that I've seen with legs like his, that sounded a little bit wrong, but was Tino Aspria. You know, where and Shearer and every player that played with him came out and says, "Hey, you guys didn't know what we was going to be doing. Neither did we. You know, we were on the pitch with them who had absolutely no idea." I think he's just one of those players that's just unique.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like I say, I know people will always throw that curveball because it was a Tyndall rather than Howe signing. He threw, obviously, the curveball towards the lad. There was a lot of, happy Sheffield fans because they said, like, he just doesn't score goals. But he's, like I say, to watch him, he's very unnatural. And like I said, and he tries things, and that's what I like about him. He brings something different to the front line. His step overs the other day, his dummies. How many times? I mean, usually what you get is somebody holding the ball up and playing it backwards rather than doing what he does, and that's just turning and running into the space that he's created. I think like I say, maybe we have got that little bit of coal that we hopefully can turn into a diamond. It'll be interesting.
A footballer that just loves playing football. You can see it in him. Just
there you go.
Going out there and playing football. He's got no sort of weight on his back or anything like that. He just loves being out on that pitch. And when he's dancing around and things like that, you're thinking, that's the type of player you want. You just want someone who's going to be out there and be themselves and do what they want. Basically, that's always been part of football.
Yeah, well, we're going to go into a part of football that I am going to question whether this is the right move, if I'm honest with you. A couple of players that are okay. The chances of Newcastle getting them are very slim because they are very highly thought after across Europe. Danilo is one. Rodrigo Moura, another one. Both being looked at by Newcastle, both very young players. But the one that has shocked me more than anything else, that has been on the back burner, and I didn't really think much of it, is one of the Aston Villa players that has gone out on loan to Roma, and that's Daniel Marlon. Because obviously everybody knows now that I think obviously Gordon's last days are literally now in front of him. I think Newcastle see a glimmer of hope in Marlon. Now, when a player's played at Premier level and has failed, we saw it with Bailey, another player that we were linked with, failed miserably in the Premier League, really. Marlon's done the same. Now, he's gone out to Roma, and I believe it's 11 goals in 15 matches. Memory's not great, so bear with me if those figures aren't correct. But it's somewhere within that region. Doing really well in Serie A. And that is the problem. Sometimes when you just look at statistics, it doesn't show you the player. Now, for Newcastle, who are taking a massive, look at this lad, they're thinking Aston Villa obviously are willing to listen to offers. Not sure of the figures, but it looks like the Marlon's interest is to stay in Serie A and stay with Roma. Roma are very interested to keep him because his return's been excellent. But I mean, for me, from the start, it was, no, you've got to be joking. You've got to be kidding me. But it was true. I read the report this afternoon, and I am gobsmacked that this kid is high up the Eddie Howe list of potentials. What is your guys' thoughts on this?
Let's have somebody else pick players.
I've got to be
stop Eddie doing that.
perfectly honest. I know very little about him. It's a new word on me, but quickly, Waza's got another super chat in. Asula is more Brazilian than the Brazilians we already have.
And I hear Waza is an expert on Brazilians, so
Oh, well, that's it.
That's a big statement from Waza.
Yeah, it is. It is. I want to know whether he's got a train track or has he got a runway? There you go. I mean, Davey saying Marlon is bang average. I mean, he just doesn't. Oh, bless you.
The half crowns drop with Tina.
It is indeed.
For God's sake, don't answer, Christina. Just keep going with the same conversation.
I mean, I must admit, when I watched him at Aston Villa, I mean, again, it was a very fleeting moments when Marlon come on. He got a couple of goals for Villa, but did nothing that excited you, and that was a Villa team that were doing okay. You know what I mean? It was they're not struggling. I don't see where the likes of Marlon fit into Eddie Howe's way of work. I mean, like I said, that's just an opinion of mine. He could walk straight into this team and be absolutely outstanding. But he isn't a team. He isn't a member that I look at, a playing staff that I think, oh, yes, Yeah, I mean, Hassan, Ouedraogo, I mean, Gaz is in the chat there. He's been heavily linked as well, mate. There's a few of them. Yeah, I mean, Connor's saying Marlon has pace. Well, maybe he should be playing a different sport than if he's got pace. We've got one with pace. The trouble is he doesn't know what's in front of him, which is the round thing, which gets you points. Marlon scored 4 in 8 for Villa in Europa and scored 4 in only 5 starts. Villa fans were disappointed to lose him. Certainly not a bad player, but not a player we should be targeting. There you go. I mean, like I said, he's come back, and again, somebody I respect, Foxy, because he comes back with some good stats. I didn't even think he'd got that for Villa with him. I know he'd scored a couple of goals. And again, scoring goals in Europe, I don't always look at that as being a thing, because at the end of the day, Anthony Gordon has run away with European goals. Doesn't seem to produce it in the Premier League.
Yeah, and now Bayern, Munich, Liverpool, and Barcelona all want him. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, listen. I mean, I know the mentality's changed towards Newcastle with Anthony Gordon. And we mentioned earlier, you can't be a bad player if you've got those willing to sign you. So you're absolutely right and spot on, Tina. But like I said, it just doesn't excite me.
I don't think it has. I think it's just it's a handy bandwagon, a handy scapegoat for everybody to jump onto. I've never seen it when he's one bad game he had against Crystal Palace when everybody was shocking. Other than that, I've never seen him not try. I've never seen him not give his all. And I'm not having this that he's down tools lock. I don't think he has.
Hang on.
Win. You talk about that then. If this was the World Cup now, would Gordon be out with a slight hip injury?
He's not out now. He was on the bench. He didn't get picked.
But no. But would he be out with a slight? Would he have played through the pain to play for England with a slight injury?
I've got no idea what the injury is, and neither of you.
Well, I do. It's a slight hip injury.
I mean, it could be, like I say, a flexor injury. I mean, but that is neither here nor there. I mean, it's like I said, that isn't for me.
No, mate. Win answer that question. Would he still be playing for England at the minute if he had this injury?
I've got no idea, but I don't know how bad the injury was.
Come on, let's be honest. This lad's got no love for Newcastle.
You can't be honest when you're making stuff up.
But I'm not making stuff up. I'm telling you what his injury was because it was.
How do you know what his injury was?
Because Eddie Howe reported it.
Right. So Eddie Howe has reported an injury. You're saying that injury doesn't exist. I'm saying, go on, tell me how you know. Tell me where the proof is, because I don't believe it.
Because it was a slight hip injury. If you want to play for a team, you can still play with a slight hip injury.
Have you ever hurt your hip, Buggy? Have you ever had any injuries in an athletic setting?
Tina, I've got to be honest, my hips don't lie. So
Hey! Christina.
But they do creak.
Yeah. But no, you can still play with a slight hip injury. It's absolute bollocks that he's been out for this along with it.
In your opinion?
I've hurt my hip once, and
in my opinion, it's not. There you go. Difference of opinion. Fabulous.
Well, I mean, let's try and clear some grounding on this then, because, like I say, I suppose the only thing we can look at is facts. There you go. Easy stats. I mean, odd to look at. I appreciate that, so I'll go through them. He's made 26 appearances. He is top of the board on XG because, like I say, he has created a lot of opportunities for himself. 1,814 minutes, 6 goals. He should have had 8, well, just over 8, so he's minus 2.83. He's had 48 shots with 20 shots on target, a conversion rate of 12. So his XG per shot is only 0.18. Now, he's played as a centre forward. He's played as an attacking left winger. And you're telling me that he's good, then you must be watching a different game to me.
I'm telling you, he's, you know, comparing. I would love to see that compared to other forwards and what they are doing.
Well, I mean,
And not,
okay,
not just Newcastle forwards.
Oh, right, okay. Like I say, I mean, I can only compare you to Newcastle because I've only got Newcastle in front of me. But
Right,
it's a
and
shocking season for all our forwards.
So where does he?
That's
stand
what I said.
Where does he stand as far as Newcastle players are concerned?
Hang on.
But like I say, for XG,
At the top. Oh, fancy that.
well, yeah,
let's
but
talk how he
XG.
stands
Let's
on
look. Hold on. Let's look at. We've got a midfielder here who beats him for goals win. He hasn't played up front. So, like I said, he's played 26 games, exactly the same. So he's scored 9 goals. So when you look at it, if you want, if you look at the hard facts, he hasn't contributed from a forward position that much in this season. So, he can't have played that well. Yeah, but it has. But Bruno's been out since February and still top scorer.
Well, that's why we're in the all we're in.
Well,
hang on. This team, whenever Gordon's played up front, has been built around Gordon playing up front. It's been built around that lad being the lad who's up front. No other strikers had that. No. Well, you watch the games with your eyes.
Now watch what Gordon does when he's up front.
And
watch what Gordon does when he's up front compared to Walter Barca.
No other striker has had that privilege of having a team built around them.
He makes his own privilege. He makes his own privilege with his work rate.
How many penalties has he scored? And how many
of the penalties has he created himself?
How many penalties has he won?
But how many times? How many times has he scored because he's been set up in that position? If Eddie Howe could do that with the rest of the strikers, great. I'd love to see that. But the only person he set to team up around is Golden Balls, who's going to let him down in the summer and is going to want away and will down tools like Isaac as quick as anything you can think of.
So you say, so you say, I don't believe that.
But hang on, he's got a slight hip injury and he hasn't played for 3 weeks. Come on, that's absolute
back to the
crap.
hip injury. You say it's not a hip injury. I say it is a hip
Absolute
injury.
ridiculous. If he wanted to play,
Well, he had the same problem last year, didn't he? Yeah, he had the same problem last year. He had this recurring hip.
Well, yeah, definitely.
So footballers get recurring injuries. Wow, breaking news.
Yeah, as I say, it does happen quite frequently. Now, listen, I did get some more news on Nick Voltemada because it seems, we talked about the picture. I've got a couple of minutes left before the lads come on at 9:30. Nick Voltemada, apparently, it's breaking news across Sky Sports Germany, this one. Is currently very unhappy with his current playing time at Newcastle after a disappointing last 5 months in the Northeast. Sources close to the player say if things don't change in the last 3 games, the German international will look to leave the club in the summer. A report that I also heard and I was writing about, and unfortunately I hope I've still got it, so bear with me, because the one that I read earlier on, where is it, was more the fact that Eddie Howe, and again, I don't know how true this is, because again, you have to be careful with some of these sources, but I am going to read it anyway when I can find it. It's speculation about an early exit for Nick Voltemada, increased after he was left on the bench Saturday's 3-1 win. Having been used in an unfamiliar midfield role February and March, Voltemada has been given just 25 minutes of game time across the last 4 weeks, becoming an increasingly peripheral figure in the Newcastle squad. According to it, and again, this is like analysis, the forward is too slow, not a genuine goal scorer, poor at holding up the ball, unable to threaten from distance, and inconsistent in the air. And that is apparently, and again, I can only assume this has come from one of the Newcastle analysts. So there you go. You read that. Yeah, you read that for what it's worth.
He's played as a German international. Spot on win. Absolute ridiculous. That is a ridiculous statement to say it. He's a German international. He's a great player.
And on that note,
Anthony
the
Gordon.
lads are coming
Sorry,
in.
We
Yeah,
shall
that's
continue
it.
it. We shall
I,
continue
I-
it.
I will take the hard hat off and put it onto you, sir.
Yeah, there you go. We're definitely going to continue that conversation if we want to. Sorry about that. Man, I have a cough. It's not on? Okay, there we go.
There you go.
I stopped it. I stopped it in time. We're going to
Yes.
continue the Gordon conversation. I'm assuming Wayne is the defending, he's losing his son. But because he's going to leave. He's leaving, folks. Whether you like it or not, he's leaving. I think it's a benefit for Newcastle, by the way. But we shall talk about that. Anyways, smash that like button. Thank you very much to the early night show for that show. And
Hey,
we
boys
shall
and
get started
girls.
with the late night show right now. Don't forget to smash that like button. Let's go.
Set up for maximum confrontation and super opinionated debates. The NUFC Late Night Show with Chris the American Man, Derek the Mighty Wind, and the rest of the panel, Monday through Thursday from 9:30 p.m. UK and UFC Talk Radio, the voice of the Toon Army.
All right, the voice of the Toon Army, ladies and gents, live here on NUFC Talk TV. Waza there. Gordon has spoken with Bayern last week. Fact. Thank you for that super chat, Waza. Thank you very much indeed. Right on. So, listen. We got to talk about Gordon. Unbelievable, man. In a secret meeting between his agent and I guess his agents and Barcelona's representatives. Talk about a sneaky little snake, isn't he? Very sneaky, very sneaky. When Isak did that, we called him out of his name. We damned him. We cursed him. When he did, he did the exact same thing. And that was in the summer, of course, and we condemned that. And we should also condemn a footballer going behind the scenes, trying to be sneaky, trying to go to a bigger club. Of course, they're a big club, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. But there are ways of doing things. So I'm assuming we're going to condemn him. I'm assuming nobody here has the audacity, the balls, the shameless, how can we put it, act of defending him because he's doing wrong. I'm assuming we're on the same page on this one because Newcastle United is what we should all rally around. We got Ian, we got Sean, we got Boki, we got, unfortunately, the mighty Win. So, right, we are together here on this one. We're going to talk about the 1 billion valuation that PIF, I guess, has put on Newcastle. Not for sale or anything, but what they value the club to be at. And we'll talk about that later on. But we got a lot to talk about with this Gordon situation. Smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Become a member if you can. Very important to do so. Help the channel grow. And all right, let's get right to it then. So, Gordon, I mean, there was exclusive footage by Diario Sport of Deco's summit with Anthony Gordon's agents. Newcastle left winger is pleasing to Barca as well. He's pleasing to Bayern Munich as well, apparently. The player has a market value of 60 million euros, according to this report, and teams like Bayern are pressing for him. 60 million for him is not really anything for Bayern Munich or Barcelona. So it's like buying, just a regular player. But the fact of the matter is they have the status to just want any player they want and more than likely get him if they want him. So anyway, what do we have to say about that then? When you were BSing about GA and all that crap, were you trying to defend that? Or
What was I saying, by the way? He was given permission by the club.
No, but just before Win goes there, I think we missed a couple of super chats a little bit back because Win had tears in his eyes about Gordon going. So I think we missed two in the earlier show, just before was our and somebody else.
I think I got.
I'm not
more.
sure. But thank you, Waza, for that. He was given loads.
I've put loads of hits back in my time. I was wondering about Gordon's hips.
Anyway.
And
I'd said, Bogey, get that Jefferson comment framed. It's spot on.
Yeah, they had
After
one
that
missed.
was, I said, Gordon spoke with Bayern last week. Fact.
Right, there
But
you
he
go.
also said he was given permission by the club.
Right. So we don't know that. How do we know that? We don't know that. We don't know that at all. I mean, we could have I don't know why we want to make assumptions to defend Gordon, but we didn't make those assumptions with Isak, so that's a bit odd.
Well,
Anyway, the super chat, he was given permission by the club.
The only other big difference between Gordon and Isak is that we didn't try to hive Isak off to anybody in a previous transfer window.
And what does that got to do with Gordon?
Because we did try to hive Gordon off to Liverpool.
And what's that got to do with now?
Well, that's got to do with whatever feelings he may have for the club.
What the hell are you talking about, man? Look, talk about, dude. You want to defend him? Perfect. Just say that. I mean, you know, be straightforward.
Defend him because he's
be straightforward.
You know,
be straightforward. Don't try to bring up some he feels bad because the club tried to sell him, trying to crap, man.
A straightforward time machine.
So,
yeah, but if he wanted to go to Liverpool, that is his boyhood club, Liverpool. Yes. So if he wanted that move, he would have went. Do you know what I mean? His clubs came in. So I don't understand if he's got any hard feelings about it, then he should have left then when actually Liverpool came. Not trying to say, well, I feel Newcastle don't want me and I don't want to be here no more.
I don't think I've never heard him say that.
No, I'm not saying that, but that's the way, you know what I mean? Like Liverpool came in for him. If he wanted to go to Liverpool, he should have went last season.
And he said, no, I'm sticking with Newcastle.
Exactly. But that's what I mean. I just think he's spitting his tummy out
to
for
try to say, well, so what are you trying to say? He's trying to pay the club back? I mean, he's trying to, what are we trying to say?
I'm just trying to say, stop piling all the
not piling,
Anthony Gordon that everybody is doing.
He's a petulant player. He's not really worth it on the. No. He's a petulant player. He's a petulant player. He's not worth it on the pitch at all. He had one good season. Has not had that season ever again. You think he's great for the team because he runs and presses. How is that reflected on the team? We don't know yet because we are a rubbish team this season. He is one of the main culprits because he's plays all the time above many other players, regardless of what his performances. He is picked above other players all the time, and the team is rubbish. So I think it's good for him to move on. 60 million is about what we should get for him anyway. So all of that's great. But now I just call out the bias here because with Isak, he was a scum of the earth, and with Gordon, we try to assume that he's had permission from the club to speak with whoever. I don't know that. We don't know that. It hasn't even been reported.
I've got no idea if he's had permission from the club, and neither of you, and neither is anybody.
Of course. So we have to assume
hang on.
it is.
We're sitting here now, and you're looking at the last few games. Gordon's been out with a hip injury. I've said this all night, and I've said it since he got that injury. If this was England, he'd still be playing. You know, it's a slight hip injury.
If it was the World Cup, he wouldn't have missed a game. Let's be honest.
Definitely not, Chris.
Let's be
Definitely
honest.
not. And that's the big problem.
Niall Powell there. Niall Powell with the
But it's
22
not
months of membership
speculation.
being celebrated. Thank you, Niall. Says club
Yeah,
rectified
Niall.
his agents to speak to the clubs. Same for Tino, clickbait title. I don't know what clickbait title you're talking about. There's nothing clickbait about our title. Says Gordon transfer shock because it is a shock. Nobody expected agents to meet up, and agents met. So there's a clickbait title. Let me just
the club.
hold on. Where does it say that? Can you find me the source?
Well, that's two people saying that now.
Who?
Niall Powell, who's by no means in a
Are you
fan
freaking?
of the
Are you? Well, hold on, man.
And
What is it? Are you kidding me right now, man?
Well,
With all due respect, Niall and Waza.
You're saying they've made that.
No. They're assuming something. I'm just like
you're
conversing here.
that he hasn't had permission.
But you can't say it's not the same as the club coming out and say, you know what, Gordon has permission to speak with other teams. We give him permission.
No, you're automatically assuming that he hasn't had permission.
Of course.
Well, I'm assuming that he has.
Because that's the assumption. Because that's the right assumption, man. Unless somebody else clarifies otherwise.
Because it's yours.
How come? No. How come you didn't assume that with Isak? How come you didn't defend Isak?
Because every club statement said Isak's going nowhere. So obviously they
Hang on,
wouldn't
but
have given him
Win,
permission.
is this not the same as the setup we had before the Isaac situation, where the club were coming out going, "Oh, he's got a slight injury. He can't play in the Celtic game. He can't go in that game." You know, and it was a load of rubbish. End of the day, what
Again,
the problem was,
comparing
the
apples
playing.
and pears, man.
Well,
No.
how am
I think there's a big. I think there's a big inconsistency here.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's,
if Tonali,
there's a big
matter of fact,
consistency in Pale and Gordon.
let's actually not even go any farther. We want to get Ian's perspective before he falls asleep, because this exact thing happened a month ago with Tonali, for example. Everybody's slating Tonali. How dare he? Telling this agent to go out there to the media to speak up and all that. You in your first thoughts, the first words that come out of your mouth is, if they don't want to be Newcastle, they can Toon Army, I mean, all that rubbish. That doesn't come first when it comes to Gordon. That doesn't come first when it comes to Gordon. That's all I'm saying.
Gordon and Tonali. Tonali was asked a question, could he see himself at Newcastle in 5 years?
No.
He says, I've got no idea. And
Tonali's agent, as far as we know, Tonali's agent.
And I qualified that by saying, by the way, if he doesn't want to be at Newcastle, bye-bye. I only want players at Newcastle.
Of course. You didn't say that about Gordon.
Before Ian comes in, who tries the most for Newcastle United? Tonali.
Oh, come on.
Gordon?
It's not even a fair question.
Tonali.
Gordon tries equally as hard as Tonali.
Oh,
yeah, man, get out of here, man. And let me tell you something. One more thing before Ian. We keep adding one more thing before we go to Ian. One more thing before we go to Ian. We don't know for anybody saying that Tonali's been speaking with other clubs. Now we know for a fact that Gordon's been speaking with other clubs to try to leave Newcastle United, to try to leave the boat sinking, because that's what he wants to do. He sees that the project is stalled, which I think is a legitimate concern for anybody. Boat sinking. He's not bothered anymore. He's leaving. That's the bottom line. Ian, go on.
I would be amazed if the club have said, whilst the season's still good, yeah, it's all right. If you want to go in the summer, just start now. Go and talk to them all now. Somebody though, they might have done it. I've just read that it was ratified by the club, as it was with Tino. And they're the two players who've got these injuries who are just taking them out of the last few games. Straight after Eddie Howe announced that if anyone's not here, I'm not going to pick them. If that's what's really happening, they've already said they want to go, so Howe's going, well, I'm not going to pick you. You might as well go and sort your transfers out. Just bloody tell us that. Instead of all of this
exactly
subterfuge.
And I don't have a problem with that either.
Gordon's,
but it's not happening.
Got a dodgy hip. Tino's had a recurrence of his bloody hamstring, and they're sending him for scans, and we'll see. And Anthony Gordon sits on the bench but doesn't get on. I mean, for God's sake, But I would be amazed if they'd said, whilst the season is still going on, saying to the agent, "Yeah, it's all right if you go and talk to them," because that's like giving up. It's like
the thing is, as soon as you give permission to the player to do that, it's gonna go public. And then the fans are going to lose their mind, rightly so, because a player that's negotiating
that's too.
You have to come out. That's why I agree with you. You have to come out.
It's two England internationals, effectively, that they've sidelined if they've done that, because their season's over now, isn't it? Their head's gone. Gordon's wondering whether he's playing in Germany or Spain next year. He's not bothered.
So you're
about,
saying Tino's is a made-up injury as well?
Digging deep to be able to try and. Well, I don't know. I'm putting two and two together, and this somebody.
Let's face it, Win. This squad is starting to split.
The agent was Gordon's agent was ratified to go and talk to Barcelona, as was Tino's agent. So if they're the two players that they've decided they're going to let go, how can you decide that a month before the end of the season? Let's get to the end of the season. It's not like there's not time to do that once the season's over in May. They don't go off to the bloody World Cup until the start of July or something, do they? Or, no,
I mean, anybody here,
June,
come on, man. We
got
all here know. It's been heavily questioned his commitment for Newcastle United. Wynn doesn't want to accept that. That's fine. That's his prerogative. But the bottom line is, amongst Newcastle United fans, he has been because they're not just coming up with that. Newcastle United fans didn't just wake up and say, we don't like Gordon, let's hate on him. That didn't work like that. It's his actions, his attitude, his personality. That's what has led Newcastle United fans to believe that way.
For having a
And you
bad
can't blame him
season.
for that.
So, as always, Newcastle United fans look for a
Ain't got nothing to do with
scapegoat.
that. No,
And
not at all.
Gordon has been the scapegoat.
Not Gordon. The scapegoat has been Walter Mata this whole season.
Hang on, Win. Who's
I'm a
been
Gordon
your
fan.
scapegoat?
I think he's a great player. He's a great left winger. He's not a centre forward. Certainly not when you've got a 70 million centre forward sitting on the bloody bench for the last 20 games.
Exactly.
But
He's
who's
a
Win's
left winger. That's why he
scapegoat?
gets picked for England to play there.
And all this
And
running
it's why
around.
Barcelona and Bayern Munich are
That's
interested.
not what I went. You know, Marcus Rashford, he's a Barcelona, and they're probably trying to bring up trying to get the Barcelona deal with Rashford first over Gordon. By the way, that's something that we're not paying attention to because Man United want a higher price for him than Barcelona wants to pay. They really like Rashford. Rashford, right there, he went to Barcelona, to one of the biggest clubs in the world, and if you're gonna tell them, if you're gonna sell Gordon to them, saying, you know what, look at this guy, look at the winger we got, pay us 60, 70 million because ours runs around and does all that pressing that Mighty Win likes to say that matters in football. They're not going to pay 20 million for him. They're not going to pay
Why
nothing for
after
him.
him then?
Because they think that he can be a proper winger. But when it comes to the facts, he hasn't been. He hasn't done that. He hasn't done that at all. And actually, we don't.
So why
There
are
might be an
Barcelona
interest,
after
but
him?
they're
Why are Bayern
because
Munich
they
after
want
him?
they want Rashford over him. That's facts. But they don't want to deal with Man United's high price for Rashford because they know Rashford's done well. So Man United want to get a good money for him. So he, in my opinion, he's second option to Rashford. But Rashford's stats, compare him to, I haven't even looked, but I'm just guessing. Compare Rashford's stats to Gordon's. Compare them. I mean, they're laughable. I'm pretty sure they're laughable.
Chris, what I would say is look at the players Win calls out. Baltimore.
Yeah, the best ones.
Tonali.
He rushes
Yeah,
the-
Tonali. You know, and then he justifies people like Gordon. You know, you justify players that aren't good enough for this team, who don't give a.
So Gordon's not good enough for this team.
But he doesn't give two hoots about Newcastle United. Tonali, you watch him when he's on the pitch.
Point.
He's
You're saying
no. No, I got the
was-
point slightly wrong at the start, but Tonali gives a crap. He wants to play for Newcastle United. You know, he loves it.
well, that's been
Baltimore
loads of
is a
times when
great
you wouldn't have
player
thought it.
and gives his all, but he hasn't played right. As soon as Gordon's played, he's played in the position that he wants to play, but he's not giving. But you know, he just doesn't give a rubbish about the team. He doesn't care about it.
Yeah, but it's like Gordon, though, isn't it? Though he doesn't
Well,
seem
I
to put
wanted
it.
to compare and I was going to say I was wanting to compare and contrast. Possibly the last month as a Newcastle player for all three of those players. Tino and Gordon have given up. They're in the sidelines. Their agents are already chatting. Tonali's agent's probably already chatting. And despite his form having dropped off a little bit, no one can fault the effort that he's putting in.
Definitely.
That's
not.
why he gets picked every week.
Not at all.
But if Tonali goes, I mean, you know me. I know we've got to make some big sales because we've got a hell of a rebuild to do, and we need as much cash in as we can possibly get. If all three of them go and we get good money for them, good luck to them.
But see,
We need
here's
the
a
cash.
here's a
We need
comment.
some
Here's
players who want to play for
here's a
Newcastle.
comment. Here's a comment, and I'll go to Sean after this one. Here's a comment that makes sense, but only makes sense under the right terms. Gary says, Newcastle are a better team when Gordon plays. Let's be fair. When he decides he wants to play, when he decides his head is in the game, when he decides he wants to be a good player, then of course. But the problem is, he plays when he wants to. He plays when he wants to, both physically and mentally. They're two different things, by the way. Both physically and mentally.
What a nonsense.
So, no, it's not nonsense. Because he literally got sent off before a final. The most important game of anybody's modern history, according to you, modern post-war, which is really all of our lives. So, he got sent off in a petulant way.
And
The same thing.
You're saying he did that deliberately.
No, not
So
deliberately saying I want to.
miss out
No.
on the final.
Not
Shut up,
deliberately
man.
saying. Not deliberately saying I want to miss a final, but deliberately in a way that his head is not in the game. He's petulant. He's got an attitude. He does whatever he wants. He got himself
he
sent
was
off.
fighting
That's
like
why.
hell for the team.
Fighting like hell, man. What are you talking about, man? What? Are you serious?
I'm absolutely serious.
Yeah, man. This
He
is
covered
insane.
50 yards to make that tackle.
No wonder Brett wants you to be out the channel, man. He says we're
hang
going.
on. What happened? What happened against Liverpool when he covered 50 yards to make a tackle?
He literally stabbed Van
bent off.
Dijk. If Van Dijk wasn't an
That's
oak
exactly
tree,
the tackle I'm on about.
Right.
that's one, by the way. That's
So,
one.
so when we've had this argument before, when's he done that against little teams? You know, that was a Liverpool that had just won the Premier League.
You know,
That was a team
this
that were, you know, that was a team that was Champions
You're
League.
complaining about him doing it against Liverpool, and now you're saying why doesn't he do it against someone else?
But why doesn't?
Crazy is that?
But that's a legitimate question, by the way, Aboki. If that's his attitude, if he is a 100% all the time player, why doesn't he do that with everybody? Why only on Champions League scoring penalties and score one on open play or two, and disappears for the big games in the Premier League when we actually need them?
He does.
In games,
But he has actually.
Hang on.
I don't think he does.
Well, win in games against bottom of the team Premier League teams.
Sorry.
How many goals has he scored apart from penalties?
I've got no idea off the top of my head.
None.
Yeah, you ain't got a clue. We know that.
Absolutely zero.
Sean, go on and have your opinion, man. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. What I was going to say was,
Sean, I apologize, man, because you coming on here, have your say, you know what I mean? And this old man in the middle just gets my piss boiling, man. You know what I mean? Because it's having to hear that. No wonder Brent doesn't watch us anymore. Brent in America doesn't watch us anymore because Wayne is here, man. It's criminal, man. And I agree with him, actually. So go on, Sean.
no, what I was going to
back though.
No, what I was going to say was, I remember a comment from Eddie Howe saying, if you play well, you stay in the squad. Harvey Barnes was having a fantastic games, and then he got dropped for Gordon just to come straight back in. And I think with Gordon is, he picks his games he wants to play. Like the tackles, he's unpredictable. You don't know if he's going to go in reckless or he's going to chicken out of it. But I do feel, like I say, Gordon is a fantastic player, but you just don't know what you're going to get with him half the time as well. But I do feel it, like I say, his attitude, it could be right, cocky. Mm-hmm. Look how he did against Everton. Look what he did with Everton fans. Do you know what I mean? How he acted with them. It turned out sour, bad.
Look how they acted with him.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, but it's the same as us, though, isn't it? Look how we're acting with him.
Exactly.
How
can you blame him?
So, no. Can you blame him? How about you look at it from the fact that two fan bases full of thousands and thousands of people can't be wrong, can they? So that's one way of looking at it. By the way, this has been Florian Plettenberg. According to him, Vincent Company has approved Bayern Munich's move for Anthony Gordon this summer. The Wingers camp has been in contact with Bayern for months. If that was Isaac, crucify him. You know, we do everything. If all the above, if that was Isaac, but Anthony Gordon, you know, can you blame him? The Flames hate him. The fans hate him. Can you blame him? So the Wingers camp has been in contact for months with an exit from Newcastle United increasingly possible as they both look to raise funds. So it looks like Bayern Munich saw Barca's interest, so they're coming in. They don't want to lose the player. I mean, Vincent Company, of course. You know, what can you expect? We want transfer business done early. Stop moaning, which that's fine. I mean, I don't want to keep him. I don't want to keep him. It'll be Wayne that's going to be sick.
You want it early. You want your transfer business done early, but you don't. To me, if you've got something to fight for, which we have up until very recently, you don't want the transfer business done a month before the end of the season, where two England internationals are effectively sidelined. They can't pick them anymore. I mean, that isn't.
Can I just get this right, Ian? You're saying that
their
Tino
first choice,
is not
first
injured
team.
right now?
I don't know. I honestly don't know, Wayne. I mean, I assumed that he was because that's what I was told. But there's kind of a.
But Ian.
I mean, it's conspiracy theory, isn't it? Really, that the two guys
of course
who
it's conspiracy.
Injured
the thing
is
the thing
are
with
the ones that apparently have been given permission a month before the end of the season to go and talk to other clubs.
Yeah, but one doesn't want to sign a contract.
I mean, maybe it's all.
Thank you, Tuna. Appreciate it, mate. Unfortunately, people can't say the same thing about Win. So we'll keep those comments up so Win doesn't see them. But
Tino,
with Tino, I think you're
doesn't want to
pushing it
sign
though.
a contract.
I think he wants to leave, Ian.
Yeah.
I think but I don't think he's
I do as
faking an
well.
injury. I don't think he's faking an injury.
No.
People can assume that and make those hardcore assumptions with Gordon because unfortunately he's giving people that.
Sorry, Chris. I'm not saying Tino's faking an injury. I'm not saying that Gordon's faking an injury. I'm saying that Newcastle United are announcing publicly that these guys are injured because it gives them an excuse not to pick them. At a time where we're looking for a win from anywhere. I mean, we were virtually in a relegation battle. We've already lost so many games that, scraping into the Conference League is a bloody long shot. So that if these guys weren't being picked, the crowd is going to be saying, why the hell are we not playing Tino? Why is Trippier back in? Why have we not got Gordon coming down the left or playing centre? We want to know why they weren't getting picked. It's easy for us to ignore it if they're both injured. But if actually they're not injured, they've just been told they're never going to get picked again because we know you want to go in the summer. Your agents can go and sort that out because we want to cash in early. That's just it. It's not the end of the season. I just think it's mental. That's what they've done.
I agree with that. I think it's mental that this has come out.
To the final.
What the hell that got to do with anything? You know something?
Could be an extra Champions League.
Win, can you pick up that bit of paper? Can we get into the Champions League that's still done? If we go down that metric.
Yeah, we certainly can.
Yeah, but with Tino, Tino doesn't want to sign a contract. So in his eyes, why should I play? So he could make himself injured if he really wants to. He's not going to want to get an injury, so he's not going to get the lead, is he?
Well,
but
he was playing supposedly when. Now let me tell you about these injuries.
Toon is also what probably lined up the longest of them to move somewhere else in this summer, but he's still here. He's committed. He'll be playing hard in the Fulham game, and then he might move on.
Certain Tonali will go.
Yeah, Tonali's different smoke. Tonali wants to play for the team. Tonali fights for the team.
Win. Can I ask you a quick question? Is the likes of Tonali a European player? So you play that should be played in Europe?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So why is he going to stay at Newcastle who aren't in Europe? When he can go anywhere he wants in the world, basically get European football.
No, you can understand. Listen, you can understand players wanting to leave
that we're
for
not
Europe.
in Europe.
We're not in Europe. Come on,
we can't have we can't have a serious conversation like this, man. We just can't. We just can't. We can't. Come on. It's
9 points to play for, 7 points off the Champions League.
Same points of relegation as well.
You say that, but how many results does it take for us to get that to go in our direction? Well, it's impossible.
Let's just look at this weekend, for example.
Well, Wayne, come on, man. You can
Chelsea
say you hope
Liverpool. Fulham go to Bournemouth. Sunderland, these are teams above us. Sunderland go to Man United. Brighton have got Wolves at home, so they should get 3 points there. Brentford go to Man City. We've got Forest, should get 3 points there. Everton go to Palace. And Villa, who will want to stay up there, have got Burnley, so that's really irrelevant. West Ham go to Arsenal, West Ham, Tottenham, Leeds. So of Bournemouth, Brentford, Brighton and Chelsea, and Everton and Fulham, who are currently above us, they've all got tougher fixtures than we've got this Saturday, this weekend.
He doesn't see it, man. He doesn't see
the weekend, we could only be 4 points behind champions.
But you've got to get results. They've got to win, though, and we've got to win.
Chris,
seriously think
what's
everybody else
now for the three series? Because we went from the magnificent 7 that we're going to win all 7 of them. We dropped down to 6. We're going to win all 6 of them. We dropped down to 5. We're going to win all 5 of them. What's the
down to 4? Fantastic 4, and we've won the first one.
Proves that we're wonders.
What's the third film then? Three Blind Mice?
Aliens 3, were you lot?
3 Amigos. 3 Amigos.
No, don't use the 3 Amigos. That's another channel, man. Now we're gonna get we're gonna get in trouble. Listen, Win is just forgive him, man. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. But I believe in Win, says Brian Gard. You got one fan there, so but, you know it's good. But
3 days to kill. There's 3
here's
games to kill.
Here's the bottom line,
Two or
man.
3 idiots.
Well, include yourself in there. But Steven tried. First time seeing you, by the way, says Win is the kind of bloke that puts his milk in the bowl before the cereal. Okay. Which, by the way, I do too, by the way. I don't want to waste milk. So it's too much milk, man. If you put cereal first and then you put milk, doesn't sound right.
Does anybody put milk in?
I don't like because I don't want to drink too much milk more than I have to. So I just put the certain amount I want, and then I top the cereal on top, so I can just probably more cereal than milk because I'm not a milk guy. Yeah, man, what's the matter with that?
I've never seen anybody put milk in before cereal. Am I alone here?
I'm just
No,
saying.
I know someone who. I know someone who puts milk.
You're alone on many things, Win. I wouldn't ask that.
What,
No,
Ian,
I know someone who puts
put
milk.
in first. Ian,
I've not heard of it. No.
I'm right.
unusual
I've never
approach,
heard.
I said.
I'm a proper bloke and I have a full fry up every morning, so there's no milk involved.
Listen.
I have the cereal after the fry up.
So apparently, it was well with that is that Bayern Munich have made a concrete offer to Anthony Gordon. This is posted by Transfer News Live, and of course, says the source that is Plettenberg again. The winger is open to a 5-year deal, but talks now hinge on an agreement with Newcastle United, with and Bayern Munich unwilling to exceed their evaluation. So I hope that Newcastle are not wanting we're near 70, 80 million for him because they're not going to get it.
69 to 75, I believe, is what.
So,
But then if we want to sell him, let's hope he has a good World Cup because that'll put value on him.
Oh my God, yeah, well that's true.
Because that's what you're going to look at now.
RSL, unfortunately, I let you down, mate. Unfortunately, I let you down.
I've kept really quiet, but I'll tell you something. He went down in my estimation when he said that.
Yeah, he went down in my estimation. No, this is just put milk, man, because I don't like milk, so I just put a certain amount because I don't want it. So anyway, that's what's going on with Gordon, I guess. Listen, he needs to go. What's the one thing that is very good? You guys brought up.
I wouldn't be devastated if he went. If we can get 70 million for him, 80 million.
No, that's well. If you get 70 million, if you get 70 million for Gordon after this season and last, that's the same type of highway robbery that what's the non-fit for purpose guy? I forgot his name now. The guy that said not fit for purpose. Mitchell. That's the same type of highway robbery that Mitchell got for Loey Kelly, Juventus, man. The same highway robbery. The victim is a granny. It's a criminal robbery. If you get 70 million for Gordon after this season and last, same type of thing. I mean, we got like 30-something million for Kelly. I mean, are you kidding me? That was insane, man. That was insane.
That was why we were paying him the wages because he was valued at near enough.
No, he wasn't valued. No, not even his mom thought he would go to Juventus and play to begin with. So when Juventus came in, we were all surprised. No act like you were expecting no big club to go for him, because this is a lie. So
Christina's in there saying, "I'll tell you what is criminal: putting milk in before cereal."
No, you gotta put milk.
Right,
Come on.
too.
I'm with Chris. Let him go, says Toon Army. Right, and you guys were mentioning about the injuries, faking injuries. Ian was saying that, and we don't know what the trust.
Sorry, Chris. I don't think it's a player's faking injuries. I think it's a PR stunt by Newcastle. So
well, that could
we're
be
not asking why Gordon and Tino aren't in the team.
Well, we keep asking. We keep asking why Hall is, but they haven't done it with Hall, and Hall's not playing.
But Gordon was fit on Saturday. He just wasn't picked. He was on the bench.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, by the way, as well. It makes you wonder why he's not getting. But it also makes you wonder why he's not getting picked. Because maybe Eddie Howe, the ultimate godly figure you got on this earth, thinks that he's wrong by wanting to go out there and jump the ship before we sunk. At least let us sink. You know what I mean? At least let's sink before you jump the ship. Maybe Eddie Howe is looking at it like that. Because, by the way, Mr.
We're doing all right without him.
Chris, can
we're
you...
doing... Well, hold on. We're doing...
I can hear the excuses already next season that from Win.
We're doing all right. We were the worst team. One of the worst teams.
We lost Gordon. You know how we were meant to do well this
bronchitis.
season. You know, it's been the same since we lost Isaac. Does he move on then to, we lost Gordon? You know, that this has been a disaster of a season because we lost Gordon.
They'll say that. You know, Gordon will score 10 goals.
If the recruitment's not up, they're replacing the likes of Gordon,
and you're gonna blame the whole season like you're just blaming on Isaac. So anything can happen now next season.
It's Gordon's fault.
We just get relegated next season. We lost Gordon.
I'm blaming this season on the whole transfer window. I'm not blaming it wholly on that. Eddie's got a lot to blame for as well. But you cannot take away the fact that the transfer window in the summer was a disaster, and that was brought about by Isaac.
Yeah, but the transfer was disasters also by Eddie Howe, though. In my opinion,
there wasn't a structure there.
Mainly by Eddie Howe, by the way.
Yeah. But that's a manager. He shouldn't have a structure.
No,
if he
that's
wants players to go
PIF.
get them.
And by the way,
so what is Eddie to blame for this season then?
Poor
Nothing.
tactics,
No, I'm
poor
joking.
in-game management, poor team selections.
So how do you justify that to keep a manager? You've just went through what a manager should be doing. Poor in-game management, poor tactics, poor selection. How the hell do you justify keeping a manager that's doing that?
Because what he's also
got a bonus poor transfer business as well.
Exactly.
And by the way, what manager in the world? It shouldn't happen unless you have an extremely elite manager that they do make these decisions. It shouldn't happen that a manager makes all transfer decisions for the club. It shouldn't. However, what manager doesn't like to have all the power in transfers? None. I guarantee you none. They all want to have 100% of the say on players that come in. How had that? Whether it's right or wrong, and I said it was wrong, you argued yes. So now you can't say that was bad or he made the wrong decision. That's his problem. That's his problem. I have bronchitis, by the way.
He's full of that kid.
And listen, I have bronchitis, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So dealing with Win is criminal right now at this stage in my life. But my point was
the
earlier.
problem is, Chris, Win just ignores every question you put to about things like that, about like tactics and things this season. Justify Eddie Howe's complete game management of this team this season.
He can't. Well, he's admitted he's hopeless.
I have called Eddie out.
If Eddie Howe,
for that, but that's because of the squad that he's had at his disposal. Apart
and
from
it's his
other
squad.
things.
It's his squad.
Yes, but it's not his squad, is it?
But it is. It is his squad, actually. What was he expecting? To get the best players in the world? That ain't going to happen unless you're in Manchester City or Real Madrid.
Right. And now we're going to get the best manager in the world. No. And
nobody wanted that.
I'm arguing right now that probably one of the reasons PIF have decided to stick with Eddie is because if they haven't, they're stupid. They'll have already approached so-called elite alternatives to Eddie, and the elite alternatives have said, so. Not a chance.
Here's my question. Let's take it, Eddie Howe was a Newcastle manager, how long would he have been at Chelsea if this was happening at Chelsea? He would have been gone. Look what's happened at Chelsea. You know what I mean?
Any big club would have sacked him on the spot.
Would have sacked him.
Well, not Chelsea.
Well, yeah, but look at the performance though. Chelsea got rid of their manager. We're not. We're sticking with him for some reason.
Look at they got rid of their manager. Oh, they're doing well, aren't they?
Well, they're above us, aren't they?
They've lost their last 7, I think, haven't they?
Hang on.
They're way above us.
Man United got rid of their manager when we were in.
And they got Warkid, by the way. Warkid, Jordy Root.
And where are they now? And where are we?
Yeah, they're doing
They
very
got
well.
Geordie
And
football
who's-
knowledge.
who's this?
So hang on.
Who's
we've
this?
got
So
Sean,
no, win,
Sean's
win,
comparing
no.
us to Chelsea, and you're comparing us to Man United.
No,
Get
what
off
I'm
your
saying is-
delusional
Yeah.
clouds, man.
Are you kidding
Man-
us? What I'm saying is Michael Carrick is has come in and he's changed things around at Man United and got them into Champions League. Eddie Howe's took us down the league since
Is it Man
Basically, we
United?
went like that.
Is
Yeah,
it
but Man
Man
United's-
United?
Man
Right.
United are rubbish, man. Man United are not
What?
2009 Man United. They're rubbish. They're a rubbish team.
Man United hasn't been Man United since Ferguson. Let's be truthful.
They got a great museum, but they aren't what they were before. So what are you talking about?
They've still got the pull to get him Wemo, for example. when
Hang
we
on.
wanted him.
No,
Mbeumo was on his last legs,
had
man.
a chance to buy players. Since Michael Carrick took over and Eddie Howe was at Newcastle, it was all Eddie Howe's players at Newcastle. Michael Carrick went in there and took over players that weren't his. Where the two
Correct,
teams
but,
gone?
but there were better players than we
Hey,
were.
we
at
got a very important question, by the way, from John Brown. We got a very important question. Boki, can you
and
justify how you're
Wemo
on
and
this channel?
Sesko for two that
That's-
we were after in summer.
Hey, Win, do you want to
They're
answer that
talking
question?
about Chelsea.
Because-
They got two that we were
No.
after.
We're not gonna. We don't ever hide around here. We don't ever hide. We
Because
show
I'm
up
good
and
with- Yeah.
we show our mugs. Win, can
100%.
you justify Boki on this channel? John Brown is asking it.
Of course, I can justify Book.
How can you justify Boki being on here?
Because he's a great lad and he's the Newcastle.
Oh,
United
no. Wait.
supporter.
Well, you can say let's keep Eddie Howe because he's a great lad too. I mean, come on, man. That speech ain't working.
Hey, hang
So-
on. That's actually a large part of the reason why I am saying keep Eddie Howe.
Oh, wait, come on, man. Then go to the Catholic
ain't
Church
no-
and you'll find a
there
lot
ain't
of
no
altar boys
two-faced
to
there.
put in charge, man.
I can I've got lovely long ginger locks and I'm a beautiful
There
guy.
you go.
So
And
you
by
know,
the way,
Brian, you-
Newcastle,
you keep watching and you keep calling us out. So you must love us in some way, mate.
Newcastle are the originator. They're like ginger capital of the world, by the way, if you didn't know. That's one of my stats for the Friday Night Show you're supposed to use, if you didn't know that. Ian.
When he decides to turn up.
Ian is smoking. Well, I got a life, man. I got a very hectic life right now. But no, because the injuries. Because you guys talk about it, of course, earlier in the show. But, I mean, we're at a point. I think Ian was talking about, he was skeptical of the injuries, rightly so. We're talking about a dead leg for 5 months already, I think. I'm exaggerating, of course. But now became, in training, a broken bone. So, I mean, something is going on where the communication is not there. They're not getting the right prognosis. How do we go from a dead leg? Maybe it was knackered and it was really dead because he ended up being a fibula, a broken fibula. Is that what it is?
Yep.
I mean,
Tibia, I
it's
think.
criminal,
One of his
and
leg
we
bones.
just gloss over it like it's just another day at Newcastle. I'm sorry, but that is unacceptable from the club. You can't tell me that this guy's has got a dead leg for 3 months and it's been nothing's happening. Newcastle United confirmed today
Well,
he
came
will miss
back
the
from
remainder.
that. This is a completely separate injury.
What do you mean he came back from that, man? Has he played since?
Way I
Played
played on
two
Saturday.
matches.
Played the Saturday before.
Ian, do you want to say something?
Well, Miley came on as a sub, didn't he? Played in midfield, and then he switched to right back when Tino got injured. So he played twice at right back, but then bust his leg again.
No. Yeah.
I think that's
So
just bad
he's
news.
we've been dealing with the dead leg for over 3 months, man.
Yeah, the dead
And now
leg
his
was
leg is
done and
broken.
dusted. He was back from the dead leg. This is a completely
When?
separate injury.
When did he come back from the dead leg? How many minutes has he played since the dead leg?
He's played 2.5 games.
What? And you think that's if that situation, you think that's a reasonable enough time? And now he's broken his leg, he's broken his bone.
It's a completely separate injury.
But when are we?
The
just
dead
rushed-
leg is
Hang on.
above the
How
knee.
many times this season have we rushed?
The tibula is below the knee.
How many times have we
One's
rushed players back
muscular,
from?
the other is skeletal.
How many times have we rushed players back from injury this season? They've got injured again. We use it
so-
with stats too much.
So
you've got to watch players themselves.
Are you saying that his broken tibula is due
It,
to
the, but,
fatigue?
man, that's not even the conversation. So try to stop steering the conversation to what you want us to talk about, man.
Well,
The
you're trying
bottom
to
line
say
is
that the two are
this
connected.
dude.
I'm
No,
saying
I
they're
didn't
not.
say. I'm saying this dude hasn't recuperated. They gave us a BS answer about a dead leg for over 3 months, I think. And now Newcastle saying Lewis Miley will miss the remaining 3 matches of the season after fracturing his fibula. The 28-year-old sustained the injury to his lower right leg during training Tuesday. A broken, fractured fibula in training. How does that happen? I want to know. With the doctors, what did Gary say about it? He knows a bit about that. What did Gary say about it? How do you break or fracture your tibula?
Didn't connect it.
No.
To the dead
That's
leg.
irrelevant because you can overcompensate. I got extremely collapsed arch feet. The way I walk sometimes can affect my knee, my thigh, and everything else, my hip. So all of that. So many things can happen. The bottom line is in
But
training.
maybe it was Miley's dead leg that caused Gordon's hip injury. Then.
Okay, that makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
but Newcastle United's medical
Well,
team
Chris, I
isn't that good.
think you break a leg in training by getting kicked.
How?
Don't you? It's a bad tackle. What's a bad tackle?
We,
Then you
we're,
shouldn't be
we're-
going.
in training. We're training like that to where we fracture our legs. How many do you see that in training? Matter of fact, you
I would certainly don't see it during the. We certainly
don't see it during the game.
During the game.
I agree. Yeah, we don't see it during the game. I agree with you on that.
It doesn't happen very often, but I can remember, was it Dave Besant broke his foot because he dropped a jar of mayonnaise on it? I mean, you can have stupid accidents anywhere, can't you? I don't think that's his dead leg that's come back as a broken bone in his leg for Miley. I think that's just an unfortunate incident in training.
Well, I'm telling you, we have a
But
lot of unfortunate
I'm not
situations.
adding Miley into my injury conspiracy theory. I think that's Gordon and Tino.
We have a lot of unfortunate situations for Newcastle this season, so-called unfortunate. And some fans will catch on to that and say, well, we just had an unfortunate season, so let's do it again next season. And I don't know, man. But it is
broken. Just for interest, broken tibulas can be caused by impact, direct trauma, but can also be caused by twisting forces, a common cause in sports, especially soccer or skiing. This occurs when the foot is planted firmly, but the body rotates, leading to an oblique or spiral fracture.
Nasty.
So
If it's that break,
that's
then
most
they
likely
were saying he's
what's
going to be
happened
back.
is-
They're saying he was going to be back for pre-season training, but if it's a spiral fracture of your shin, then it's not a quick heal. That
Well,
it's horrible,
Gary's medical knowledge was saying typically 10 to 12 weeks.
we got 2 super chats short from the goal 15 for this night show, folks. Please help us reach those last 2 super chats. Help the channel grow. Become a member if you can. Help and smash that like button if that's free. Help us out. And Miley out. We're gonna be kind of the Lewis whole thing where he broke his ankle. I think came back the following season. We'll see when that happens.
Yeah.
And Gordon is going to be going. So Newcastle have one of the that's why there's nonsense that everything is we will be all right. We'll be amazing. Just wait. It's all rubbish. It's all rubbish, man. Seriously, Newcastle are facing the biggest storm, definitely since the takeover.
I don't think
Probably
there's any doubt
the
about
biggest, probably the biggest storm since any fan had any expectations. Because the Mike Ashley era, probably people had expectations the first year, second year. After that, everybody knew it was going to be rubbish every time. Nobody had any expectations. But since Newcastle have probably the biggest, since Newcastle have actual expectations to fight for Champions League or Europe, I mean, we have to replace so many footballers, top quality ones, add already to the list. And we got these injuries to take care of. I mean, it's going to be insane. It's going to be one hell of a ride. And also the manager, of course, that's a big one, not finding the right tune of the team. It's going to be, I'm telling you, it's going to be a very, very toxic, tumultuous
Yeah, the
somewhere ahead of us.
fantasists are going to have to put their reality hats on.
The reality are Newcastle United are a rubbish team.
Jefferson got called out last night, and
He got
one
called
thing
out,
I will
yeah.
say, one thing I will say is he should never ever called another panelist a muppet. That's
By the
that's
way,
the wrong thing to do.
By the
But
way,
what-
I was trying.
yeah.
I was fair. It was Win, Jamie,
were.
and Kevin who piled up on
Yeah.
our
But
panelist
with Jefferson, how wrong is it? How right has he proven to be? You know, I started this channel. One of the first shows ever I did was with me best, like one of my best mates on the panel, Jeff has. And how right did he choose to be? Was he compared to everybody else? He called everything. And to be fair, I didn't start out as an Eddie Howe okay type of guy. I was actually against Jefferson, you know. And then you look at it and you come around to his way of thinking. What's to justify Howe still being here next season?
factually.
2 Champions Leagues and a trophy.
No, here we go.
But a poor season.
For a poor season.
Bogey, the
right?
justification,
Yeah, yeah.
Bogey, is that
In a poor season, you have
the
poor seasons.
justification.
Yeah, but he's not elite
The
manager.
justification is that
there's a good season. There's a bad season, and there's a bad season where you're trying things differently and you're trying to get things right.
Exactly.
What has he
Could
done
turn
this
it-
season
which
to
could
turn
turn it
things
into a
around to
worse
get
season.
things? What things has he done this season to turn things around and try to get things right?
Nothing.
No, not a lot.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He's blown himself out, but he's been
And
found
how the
out.
hell
He's
do
been
we
found
sit? Hang on, we're sitting here all saying this. How the hell do you justify keeping his manager?
I've
Well, Win,
also,
Do
I've
you know
also,
me?
hang on. I've already said.
Win, you
if
have admitted
Eddie-
that you ain't
if
got
Eddie
that you
was,
just.
was sacked, or if they got rid of Eddie for whatever reason. For me, I could have no complaints based on this season's performance. My argument has always been that, as far as I'm concerned, he's got credit in the bank and he should be allowed to use that credit.
He ain't got
One
no credit,
bad
man.
season,
That's long
one
gone,
bad
man.
season doesn't.
Right.
And by the way, it still.
So you should no.
It still isn't a
Oh.
bad season yet.
Are you serious?
So you're saying to
This
me, so you're saying, like, give him the credit to spend in the summer, and if he starts off 10 games with a defeat, then what?
Then he goes.
Then he's knackered.
But then what
Then
about
you
the new
gotta let
manager?
him
Then
go.
what about the new manager that's going to come in? He ain't got no. It's not his players. It's all that money's being wasted.
We've already
there you go.
established it's not. It shouldn't be Eddie's players.
Win, do your little tippy tappy thing. How good have we been over the last 3 seasons in starts? You know, you go on your little computer there.
We
and
are
you
knackered.
look at how good we are.
Poor. We're historically poor, but there's been historical reasons why we've been poor.
Yeah,
Like
but you
this
can always
season,
find
for
these
example,
reasons, man.
2 fullbacks out, no
It's-
strikers.
You serious?
But-
No. We've had strikers. He chose not to play them. It's that simple. He chose not to play them.
Yep.
We don't have, even as much as I've criticized Wissa, as much as he misses sitters
Hang on.
in front of goal.
How many games? did
We
Walter
have not
Barca
had a
play
full test on it.
before he was dropped to midfield.
Shouldn't have been dropped to midfield in
Many.
the first place.
And we scored, and the team was
In
rubbish.
which case, he went 18 games without a goal.
Right?
Hang on, Win.
Up front.
I've watched.
But then-
Win, I watched a video of you coming out the ground after the Brighton game that season, in regards to when we were lost, and you saying Isak's not good enough. Isak can't play up front. Isak can't be up front by
Well,
himself.
I've said
By the way,
all along.
you know, so
Isak-
you
Isak
don't
wasn't an
justify
out-and-out
yourself.
number 9.
No, Win is knackered. Ian
But we built
was
the
cut off.
team around Isak.
Exactly, and we haven't done that.
And Barcelona moved on from Lionel Messi. We can't move in from Isak, man. Fuck's sake. Are you kidding me? Ian, Dom Creamy. Ooh, Dom Creamy. That's a name right there.
yes.
He said you were rudely cut off. He would have liked to heard your opinion or your viewpoint on that, whatever you were trying to say. So I apologize, first of all, on my behalf
thanks.
and the behalf of the channel and the owners of the channel. And, and Win, he's an executive producer of the show. And everybody else, we don't try to pull some workman compensation for this crap. So just finish your damn point.
I thank Dom for that, and I do know that Dom Creamy is a pseudonym that my brother uses. So thanks for that, Dom. The point I was going to make was that I can see why PIF can justify Eddie Howe keeps his job, because they've set everything up and they've worked for the last 12 months to build the lists and buy the players to fit into an Eddie Howe team. So if you get rid of Eddie Howe and there's a different manager comes in, all of that work is, at worst, it's blunted. It's not on point. But if Eddie Howe's got to go through this transfer window and work his way through Wilson's lists, buy the players to make another Eddie Howe team and push on. That's why they'll justify it. That's why they're not going to say we're going to get rid of Eddie and bring somebody else in, because all of that research and all of that scouting and all of that checking out will be out the window. So that's why PIF will justify keeping Eddie Howe. There's too far. It's too far or too close to the critical point, which is the transfer window, for them to make a change and have a manager that's not interested in half of the names on that list that Wilson's probably already got lined up for a chat. That's why they've done it. But if it was just based on results, you couldn't do it. I mean, you couldn't do it after losing the second time to Sunderland, could you? That would have been out normally in normal Newcastle world after the season we'd had, getting stuffed 7-2 off Barcelona, then losing at home to Sunderland. That's it. Go.
Ian, do you
Yeah,
put
the
any
results after that.
credence to
But
Millie?
could you imagine? Could you imagine we get Sunderland first game of next season at home, and
I
we
would
don't
love
win?
it.
What the hell's that season going to start off like? How much of a nightmare is that going to
Yeah,
be?
but you see,
I would
I
love
just
it.
think that we need a reset. We do. And if Howe's got the pre-season with them and he's boosted the squad, so like the point I made yesterday in the early show, if we've got, I mean, he's got 17 or 18 players that we would pick. That's why he can't rotate very much when we pick up 6 or 7 injuries, because he doesn't trust 6 or 7 of the players in his team. But if Lascelles has gone and Kraft has gone and those sort of squad players are replaced by new ones that he's bought, he has got a bigger squad to choose from, so the rotation will come.
But
Next
Ian,
year, one game a week,
do you
we
trust
can
him to
have a
use
great
them?
season.
But do you trust him to use them, Ian? If he gets like younger players in, or do you think he'll just go back to his tried and tested?
Well, I mean, Michael did a fantastic stat last week. When you look at who is top of the league in the Premier League for giving England under 21 players minutes this season, it's Newcastle United. And I said,
No, but
I got it
I'm
right
saying
because I
if
said
he
that it's all Miley, basically. But
but
they've
I was
played
going to
more
say,
England under
but if he
21
gets young
players
players
than
in,
any
do you
other team.
trust him to play in them, or do you think he'll
He plays
if he's
Tino, he plays Tino, he plays Hall,
say Hall
he
gets
plays Miley.
injured first game of the season, would he bring on an Alex Murphy to play at right back, or would he bring on a Dan Burn if they're on the bench?
I would hope he
Well,
would
what
bring
I
them
would
back.
hope is that Wilson's brought some skillful 21-year-old French lad in who's impressed
Yeah,
in pre-season, and he's challenging Hall for the left back position from the first game. That's what I'd hope would have. If we want to be
but if you're
spending our money
honest,
wisely, if we get boatloads of cash in for these.
if we're honest, he'll drop back to his tried and tested, won't he?
You'll go down left back.
Well, I have a horrible feeling that Dan Burn will be playing somewhere in that first game of next season.
And that's the
Um,
and that's the bottom
but
line, man. That's
you
the
know,
problem.
Yeah, but my worry is as well.
if they
Look,
can
we
get
keep-
some of the sales done early, and therefore some of the purchases done early, and they get a full pre-season. I know Alanga had one, and it made no bloody difference for him. But if you can get some of these young players in and have them in the full pre-season, then he might be trusting them more than he did what he had. If you see what I mean. So we can get more rotation. But yeah, they've got to be good players. They've got to impress. But you know what I mean. We've had a squad padded out with players that he's never going to pick, like the Cells, like Kraft. It was Dummett the year
But
before, wasn't
Ian,
it, or
you know
2 years
what I mean
before?
when you're looking at the
That's
players on the bench and you've got 230 odd million pounds of players on the bench, and they're not getting a chance.
330
You know,
million pounds.
how does that work well for next
I
season?
agree entirely with you. I agree with you entirely. Ridiculous. More than 300 million quid we had on the bench, and Murphy still started on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if he's only playing one game a week and he's got his training every week, then he will start trusting them. That's the difference. He'll train them and he'll see them, and he hasn't done that this year. And I think that's why when he's backs against the wall, he's just picking the players that he knows.
And that's also, by the
They're
way,
doing
why Man
what they can
United
for
have
him.
had such a good, because they
I
haven't
think that
had
he
Europe
might have.
this season.
Yeah, but if you had Europe, then we should have recruited to have depth in the squad.
I still think if you compare personally, if you look at our squad and you look at the Man United squad, yes, they've got one or two good players, but we've got a much better squad than Man United have. Look at our fullbacks.
Yeah.
We've
Let's
got
go
a much
with
better squad than Man United have got, and we are, I don't know, 25 points behind them now.
19.
That's
it's been insane.
so I don't know, Boki. I mean, you just have to hope that there's more guidance on the tiller than just Howe, and the players that come in. Maybe he doesn't know a lot of them, but they'll be there.
But do
because
you
they've been
and Sean,
checked out.
do you and
They've
Sean
been
trust
scouted.
in Sean trust in how next year to get this right? Do you think that's a right decision? Because we're going to spend a lot of money. Do you both think that that's the right guy to be in charge to spend that money?
I don't.
I don't
But I
know.
can see why PIF are committed to it.
No, I
So
think they're
I've got to
scared.
Do you give any,
because he will be in
Ian,
charge.
do you give any credence? You know, you're saying PIF have made the decision because they've now got everything in place, so that they're trusting how to improve it. Do you think there could be any credence in my latest theory that they've actually probably tried, they'll have sounded out other so-called elite managers, and those elite managers have said, no way, Jose.
Win. Mourinho would hop over hot
course he would.
stones
so,
to get here.
so you say,
You know,
at the time that Real Madrid are in for him.
they're
Madrid
not
don't
in
want him
for
now.
him. But let's
They
be
don't
honest.
want him now.
If we go
Not
to hit
now,
them and say,
but they're still in the background until they appoint somebody. He's on their radar.
no,
So, go on,
teams
sir.
would hop, managers would hop over top court schools. Sorry, I can't get the two words out. Managers
Get your word
would hop over top stones to get to Newcastle. So you know that's no excuse.
So,
Well, lots of
Sean, I
managers
wanna-
would, but are they
at
better than
present time,
Howe?
though,
well, we gotta let Sean
at
speak though.
at
Sean,
the present time, there are too many potential jobs coming up for them to say dead early, oh yeah, I'll come to Newcastle. So I think they probably have made some calls, and the
I doubt
managers
it.
have probably sat a little bit on the fence to wait
I
and see
highly
what
doubt it.
jobs
Sean-
there are to go for.
Say, I think,
Sure.
look, if we stick with Eddie Howe, you're going to have to back him, yeah? That's a fact. But I'm worried if we give him that much money and we have a bad season, that's Sim James's is going to be like, oh my God, let's get out of there. I think the owners are scared to upset too many people. I do think that. Because, be honest, Mourinho would jump at this job tomorrow. If we went, he'll come. But no, I'm worried. The transfers have to be right, but I feel they're going to be like ex-Bournemouth players or players he's worked with, which I'm a bit worried with. But I don't think he has confidence in the younger generation, like the young players. He doesn't seem to want to give them a crack.
No, that's true. I agree with that. What's up with the super chat there? What did you say, Win?
2 seconds, coming.
Right there. Chris was born in Wigwam,
Sitting
bullshit.
bullshit.
Right, let's go with the comments and see what people are saying out there. Ads, Gordon, very similar to the Rat, both hugely overrated players, much better players out there. Would swap Flash for Ryan without thought. There you go. When you are knacker pal, says tags cast. You are knacker pal. Can't wait to see your face when we sell Gordon. He is crap.
Well,
There you go.
he's not crap, or the clubs that are after him wouldn't be after him. And secondly, I wouldn't bother me if Gordon went.
I'm
going to be here.
well,
Get rid.
it would bother you. You would be sick all day, all week, all month.
I wouldn't.
And blame the next
at
season
all.
on us selling Gordon,
Not
as you
at
did selling Isak. But I will say Gordon is not a bad player. I just don't want the attitude. I don't think it's proactive. And,
And I disagree that he's got
it's somebody else's problem. But he's a good player. It's just somebody else's problem in that sense. Becca, there's a pattern forming here. Gordon gets offered to Liverpool without asking for a move. Isak gets stuffed on a contract offer. Walter Mata feels like he's not wanted. Who is really to blame here? There you go. Well, that's a good question. Christina, it's okay.
Well,
We're getting that Villa player. Is that talking about, what was his name?
Marlon.
No, but there's not the Liverpool player as well that we were linked with yesterday. It's getting heavier and heavier now, man. The link. Jones, that's right. Brian Penny, anyone that doesn't want to be at NUFC should be told by the club to talk to whoever and send the details to us to approve or deny. Simples. Move on. Getting players lined up, out and in. Says Brian.
Brian's right with that, Chris. But you don't do it a month before the end of the season.
Yeah. I mean, it's not good. It's not good. Because let me tell you something.
Ricky's in.
Because let me tell you something. Nothing doesn't mean that he's going to leave this summer, by the way. Anything can happen where he's going to have to stay. And how are you going to stay in a club where it's clear that you wanted to leave, you talked about leaving before the season was over, you gave up on the season? I mean, that's not good. That's not a good situation. Toon Nut. It would make my day to see Isak back. It won't happen, but I'd welcome him back again.
You're one of the few, boy.
Let me tell you something. Here's the bottom line. If Isak comes back to Newcastle, fans will cheer and they will celebrate his goals. They'll get over it. But then the process to make it happen, very tough. But it says, F me, I'm agreeing with Boki to nut. There you go. Davey, Gordon on the left wing, kicking towards the Gallagher, gives Wayne a cheeky wink every game. Yes, I did type wink correctly. I think he spelled wink with an A. But anyway, adds, some people I've got to stop protecting Gordon. We need to move on. Too many better players.
Well, you tell me some much better players than Gordon.
Oh my God, are you serious right now, man? Wayne, how many times have
players who want to play for the town? So it doesn't necessarily
agree
mean
with
that
that.
they're a better player.
I don't want
It
anybody
means that
here
they
who
want
doesn't
to
play
play in the black and white stripes. And when we both want that, you want players who want to have that shirt on there.
Absolutely. And
couldn't-
you don't believe Gordon fits that category? I do.
Let me just refer you to the time where Gordon refused to play on the right by saying he doesn't like to play there. The next week, Barnes played. He scored. Was man of the match. Was asked if he'd rather play on the right or wherever. He said, "I don't care where I play as long as I play." So two contrast
Eddie's
of answers.
decision.
There you go.
Arguably
Gavin
another
Fuller.
bad decision.
Gavin Fuller, Wayne, tell me the last away game in the league Gordon played well. There you go. You can answer that or plead the fifth because you ain't got a clue. Gavin Fuller, he won't get in front of Diaz. Oh, Diaz, much better player, no doubt about that. That's the one player right there. Oh, thank you, Gavin. Elite Talk Sense. Oh, Christina celebrating 5 months of membership. Who would on the panel bring in to replace Gordon? Luis Diaz, 100%. No doubt about that. But I mean, anybody. I don't even think we had to replace him.
You don't think we'll have to replace
I wouldn't
Anthony
like
Gordon?
to rely on Barnes.
Harvey Barnes, full season, give him the shot. As much as Gordon has been given an opportunity unfairly against other teammates, give Harvey Barnes a chance. Give him a chance.
There's a young South American winger out there, Chris, I'm sure.
Oh, plenty.
Come in
man,
and
plenty.
absolutely play there. So
there's plenty
let's
of
give
them,
them
man.
the chance to play.
That's reet. Plenty of them, trust me. Yeah, man, get it done. Get it done.
If he gets injured, if Barnes gets injured, Sun Tzu Park.
Yeah.
Sunsu Park as well. He did amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't even got a clue what happened with Sunsu Park.
Let's see how he got injured. Let's see how he does.
Oh, he's been injured for the whole season. What did he explode his leg or something? He's been out.
You
gonna
know,
be out
the
for
thing
the
is,
season.
what you have to look at with playing a player like Park is, you look at the snooker. Me and Wayne love with snooker. You know, you've got that young lad.
Sorry about that, mate.
We're winning that. You know, if they get a player in who's a top class player, it gets us the Asia market over here. We're all of a sudden the biggest club in Asia, and if you get to that, that's where the ka-ching.
Oh, that's the proper
Yeah,
ching comes from.
You're looking for a Son replacement.
Yeah.
Right. Lee talks ends. He's probably not faking an injury. He's probably just told Eddie he isn't playing. Oh, fucking hell. And Eddie's lying for the rat. Hey, listen, that would be something. Let me tell you something. I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him. Davey, if the UK wins the Eurovision, then 15 gets us Champions League, and we'll be celebrating that. He'll say we're back. What a great season. We're finishing Champions League or whatever. You know, don't you be deceived, folks. We're here to tell you the truth. Don't you worry.
I am here to tell you the truth, folks.
David Veach, can someone sell Win to the Mackhams? Right? Anybody wants him. That's the problem. Not even the Mackhams, man. Steven, I'm waiting for the 3 points Champions League by Christmas speech. Win.
That's exactly where we were.
Who's doing the short videos on this? Could they put that video back out again?
Oh yeah, come on, man. We got the video editors out.
That was absolutely true.
Yeah.
And we were.
What do you mean? What's true? For a week, and that's enough for you to cancel everything else in between.
That was the deadline.
Man, get out of it. But no, actually, we weren't. When you said by Christmas, we were not in Champions League. No, we weren't. Stop lying. That's why the famous phrase
after we beat Burnley. No, the famous phrase came out after we lost to Man United because I thought, and again, let's bring it right up to date. I thought after the Man United game that it was impossible for us.
Again, you should never call another panelist a muppet. But this is why Jefferson was right. You know, the last night show.
You did. Hold on, Boki. You didn't defend Kevin on that. Now you're trying to do it. You're trying to play that.
No. I've always defended the Kevin and saying that he's not a
Man United defeat. When I said
I know one
Eddie
muppet
out, that was because it looked as though it was going to be impossible to get within 3 points Champions League by the time the Christmas fixtures were over. It turned out that we were within 3 points league after we beat Burnley.
The fact that you're justifying that, man, it's insane. Let's move on before we play the piano.
So win. How many points are we within with Champions League now?
7.
We are knackered.
Come on, man. Adds K. Eddie is the problem. End of. Get rid. Finally move on from the average manager. And Niall Powell. We lost all the players. Give them another year. There you go. I think a bit tongue-in-cheek there from Niall. Gary says, actually, that's a good point. What makes fans think we can get so-called elite managers in the current state we're in with the current squad? Wages and training ground, etc. No elite manager will risk their reputation. I'm not calling for elite manager.
Look
Xabi Alonso's not an elite manager, but he's a very quality manager. He would be an upgrade on Eddie Howe.
Would he
but hang on, lad.
You just got to ask. You don't know.
Look at Tottenham at the minute. It's all in regards to, you know what? Why is the top manager went there? You pay them the ka-ching and they'll come. You know, if you've got the money,
the other thing that I've said, I would go to club and say, "There's 20 million a year, son. Come here and sort this out."
RSL, the league is crap. Arsenal are crap. Liverpool last year, my team weren't great. Salah dragged them over the line. Standard is awful at the moment. I agree with that.
Well, I completely disagree. I think that the standard is improving all the time, which is why you've got the constitution of the clubs all together.
Yeah, Real Madrid, you better be shaking in your boots. If Brentford make the Champions League, you better be shaking in your boots because they're going to take your titles away from you. Poor old Brentford. Just stop playing Miley at right back, says Bain. Thank you very much. And last but not least, John Brown. Guys, if I offered you your first trophy in 70 years and 2 Champions League qualifications, but a bad 3 season, would you have took it? Yeah, once you make deals like that, you always take that. But the bottom line is, one thing about Eddie Howe did is he proved or he showed everybody what a proper worth is. That was Newcastle's worth.
Chris,
not above that, not below that. Yeah,
can I answer that one? In regards to this, if you're going to do that, if you're going to get better, if you're going to move up that next level, then great. that's where we want to be. But then if you start going backwards, that's the problem.
No, the
You know,
problem is that
yeah,
you
yeah,
expect
yes,
linear progress year on year.
Yes, he got to that level, but he started to go backwards, and that's the problem.
Yeah, that's what happens.
And
It's
but
not
it doesn't
linear.
always. If you can see things changing
does
around
always.
a little bit,
It does
it doesn't
always.
always. But doesn't, because if you can see things progressing season on season, that's brilliant. There's no progressing this season. That's the problem.
So they should
the reason why
Guardiola.
No. It's not about progressing and always going up and all. It's not like the stock market. It goes well, it is like the stock market. It goes down, up and down.
No, but you've got to
but a
see
good
a little
project
bit of change. Yeah,
but a
You've got
good
Pep
project should
Guardiola,
always,
who can't
you know,
get
a
to
good
the
project.
quarterfinals of the Champions League now. More
good
than likely
project
you're going to
should-
lose the league. You sack
Listen
them,
to me.
because that's
No,
not
no.
progress.
Stop deceiving fans, man.
I'm not
Here's the
deceiving
thing.
anyone.
Or trying to. I know you're trying to scam fans. Here's the thing. Eddie Howe has the same patterns all the time that we hear and say he's not going to change. And you say he's going to, but he's not. But he's going to, but he's not. And nothing changes. That's the problem. That no matter what happens, nothing changes. We keep going backwards in ways that are unheard of. You are fighting for Champions League, all of a sudden you're 14th, 15th. So, I mean, you don't just have Man City. What's the worst they do? Be 4th, 5th during the league, and then they go up, start fighting the league again.
That's regression. So you sack the manager.
No, it isn't, man.
hang
No,
on,
it
hang
isn't.
on.
That's not regression.
What did you just say?
I'm
That's
sorry.
regression. Where
No,
can I swear here? Because
No,
we
no,
are,
you're the
You can
one
swear
that
now.
says
We
you want
are
progress every
fifth.
season.
But you don't
are
sack-
fifth, and we went to
You
13th.
said if you
That's
don't
not
progress
regression.
every season, you sack the manager. It's nonsense, man.
no, but you don't sack Pep Guardiola for dropping in the
For
league
one
to
bad
fourth,
season.
3rd, or 5th. If Newcastle were properly set up consistently in the league and fighting for Champions League, nobody would say nothing. And of course, if Eddie Howe wasn't
course it wouldn't,
making
but-
the same mistake,
But by
no,
the
it
way,
wouldn't.
what are
But
Arsenal, Man
stop-
City, Man
no, but-
United, and Liverpool going to say about this? They're just
They're gonna
going
be
to let
fighting for-
us.
They're
No,
gonna
they're
say,
not.
ha, ha, ha.
No, they're
gonna
not.
say ha that team spent a friggin' fortune.
But we-
and they haven't
Didn't
got
Liverpool-
players that have got to get anywhere near us. That's
Except
what
they
Nobody-
spend as
wanna be
much as
for
they
seen.
example-
spend.
Support them.
nobody, for example, I'm pretty sure 100% of Villa fans don't think that Aston Villa can fight for the league. And for the vast majority of the time, really, they were up there 3rd, right there. But they don't believe that. Right now, they've dropped to their proper
Now
place.
everybody's lost the
5th.
plot, so sack
No.
everybody.
But see, that's the thing. You want to play that little game so the two people in the chat tell you you're right. But that is irrelevant. They're dropped to the place they should be, 5th. They should be there just like Newcastle United should be.
Villa should be
5th,
5th.
6th,
Yeah.
7th, fighting for Champions League. That's our battle right there.
That's-
Not fighting for the league, but right there in Europe.
We should be top here, definitely.
But didn't Liverpool fans
Get outta
want
here, man.
Slop sacked? Haven't they been asking for it? They've all been asking for it.
Yeah.
He's getting another season. Yeah, and they, you know what I mean? They won the league.
And if he does get sacked, who they going to get?
Well, they're going to get a top quality manager, aren't they?
Yeah.
How?
Howie.
But you can, you can't. Liverpool are not getting.
Xabi
it.
Alonso.
No.
And so, and
Yeah,
that's
but the
what
point
we
I'm
are
trying to say
expecting
is-
get.
We're not expecting to get anybody, dude. That's the thing with you.
So
We
who-
have to make the
who-
attempt.
Who can you
We have-
guarantee is going to do
You
a
don't
better
know.
job than Eddie?
No, I don't
How
know,
do
but
you
we-
know Xabi Alonso would say no? How do you know? How do you know anybody would say no for that matter?
But the
You
point-
got to go out there and make a decision.
But the point I'm trying to say, Liverpool.
And I'm
want-
saying I bet PIF have.
No, they haven't.
But my point I'm trying to say is Liverpool fans want their manager sacked after winning the league last season. But we want our manager, like some of us want our manager sacked, but it's not happening. And they don't have sacking their
Because-
manager. But
You know why? You know why? Because most Liverpool fans know that, of course, they got to be there fighting for the league.
yeah.
But winning one title like the Premier League, as important as it is for them,
hmm
it's not the end of the world. It's not the end all be all. They can see through the lines. They can
Because they're
see
on a different
through it.
level to us.
No. They were talking. Understand? Listen, man, for a second. Listen. They understand that winning the Premier League, as much as it's an important title in their history, because it's another Premier League, they can see through the BS. We, Newcastle United fans, the Carabao Cup is an important title for us, but we have to be able to see through the BS. It's not the end all be all. That's the bottom line. You don't want to see that.
Yeah, because I'm very, very happy winning a trophy. Thank you very
But
much.
hang on, I'm happy with winning a trophy, but I want to see
If
what
you
the
won a
next trophies.
300,000 on the town moor and in the town last.
Hang on.
God,
I want to see where's the next trophy coming from, and how's Eddie Howe progressing this
right, there
team
you
to
go.
get to
Well,
a
Eddie
next
Howe's the only
trophy?
bloke that's done
So
it
you know,
far.
no, wait. I've let you had your say. Let me have mine. You know, in regards to this, where's that next, great performance coming from? Where's that next, where do you see in this moving forward as a squad? We haven't moved forward since that cup win. We've went backwards. We've got worse. We've got worse as a team. Well, no, we've got worse as a team, and he's got worse as a manager. Where's that next?
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, Boki, because I think that Eddie Howe is Eddie Howe. He's always been. I don't think he got better and got
he's
worse.
Don't get us
I
wrong.
think
I'm
that-
not calling out Eddie Howe on that. All I'm saying
No,
is,
my
where's
point
that
is,
where's that next big win coming from?
These patterns, these decision makers has always been there, even at Bournemouth. So I don't think he's gotten better or worse. I think he just is who he is.
Is Eddie Howe?
It's just who we are, mate. It's just who we are.
I just give him a £2 super chat for being a top channel. And Borky,
Thank you, mate.
always right.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
Oh,
He
Appreciate
is
it.
always right. Remember that, lads.
Park Sung, and
Easy for you
Neve
to say.
are playing easy for me. Are playing really well, and I've watched them.
Yeah.
So there you
I've
go.
watched
Cheers,
a few
mate. Cheers,
highlights
guys.
and
We
they do look-
got us
both
to
look
our
really
to our
good.
point. Got us to our target, which is I appreciate that very much indeed. Galaxy there says 15 losses win, but we won
Yeah.
a trophy.
No, 16 losses is unacceptable. Especially when
But
you bear in mind that in 9 of those games,
So
we were in front.
You're saying 60 wins unacceptable. Where do you see the change coming in regards to those losses? Where do you see Eddie Howe take one next season that won't have that result?
Where he took us in 22-23, where he took us last season. The very same place. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
but our forms dropped off after we won that cup.
We should have just kept Bobby Robson then.
Well,
Should have kept forever.
History will tell you absolutely we should have kept Bobby Robson.
Oh, but we should blame the draws that Newcastle United were for the next 10 to 15 years after that because we sacked Bobby Robson. That's why.
No.
We were absolute draw. We got relegated. We almost got relegated because Bobby Robson was sacked.
Again, you're comparing apples and pears, right?
Exactly.
The reason
You are doing that.
The reason we were dross for years that wasn't Bobby Robson, because after Bobby Robson...
So why did you blame Bobby Robson then?
Hang on, after Bobby Robson, before Ashley took over, because he's to blame for everything. from
Okay
when he
then. So
took over.
stop
But
blaming
from
the
5
sacking
to
of Bobby
9,
Robson.
We sacked Robson, and it was soon as an Allardyce and the rest.
Hang on.
So it's not the sacking of Bobby Robson that made Newcastle United draws.
No, it was
after
who we
that.
replaced him with.
Exactly. So
Who at the
you can't
time
say
were
that sacking.
top
Hang on.
managers.
We replaced Robson with a top class manager. We replaced even his replacement as a top class manager. If you like,
Correct,
in
and what happened?
Allardyce. So you're just worried that you can't get better win. What you need
that's
to
true.
get used to is you
Hey,
can
guilty
get better.
as
You
charged.
can.
The thing, you know what he's doing.
If you bollocks up and you buy the wrong guy, then fair enough. But
I
you
bollocks
can't
up
get that
what
right
Robson
guy.
out.
No, you
That
look
makes no
after-
sense, man.
Look at after Cox.
Yeah.
Who was the best manager that came in? Keegan.
Anyway.
Come on.
Oh, there you go, baby. You see, it can always get better. But that's the point. You're supposed to try to make the right decision for. It's supposed to
I don't
work
know
that
who
way.
I was talking to, but he says, "You're doing me heat, and I wish you'd just piff off." Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
Listen, we gotta go. We gotta go. But thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. The super chats as well. Thank you, Ian. Ian, I apologize, man. You haven't been able to talk much for some reason.
All
You
right.
know-
I didn't want to join in the shouting match because that would be mental, wouldn't it?
Oh
I just
yeah,
sat and
man.
listened
this
to
is-
it.
Do you know what?
I-
Ian's
I-
the most best.
And I've got,
person on this channel.
I've got
for
what was me
reconveying
dreamy,
things to
creamy,
say.
dreamy,
There you go.
dream
There
boy,
you
or
go.
whatever
There
it
you
was.
go.
So,
That's right. That's right. You got creamy over that, I'm sure. Sean, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sean, for joining us, of course, as usual. Unfortunately, we need to get Wayne off the channel, man. I'm telling you, man, because it is criminal, man. I got
have a night
bronchitis,
off tomorrow.
man. Oh yeah, that's right. If you don't like Wayne, you can watch tomorrow. He won't be on. So there you go. You're doing my head, and thank you very much, Was. Thank you to all the super chatters out there. Appreciate it. The one thing in this channel, and I'll leave you off with this one. This channel is the true voice of the Toon Army. The true voice of the Toon Army. Because no matter what, you get different opinions, you get different takes, you get different perspectives from different places around the world on this channel only. Only. Think about that. Think about that. Some people can't tolerate other opinions, so they just, block people off. It'd be so easy to block Win off. But I mean, it would just be
We boring.
We got to be proven right, me and Boki. So we got to have them
That's
on.
it. And
We gotta have 'em on.
you're more invested in being proven right than you are in Newcastle.
Sometimes, you got to be right. Sometimes you got to be told, I told you so. Because you never get
you
it.
for your membership yet
Chris are
again.
the
Thank
big-
you, Wazza. Thank you, Ads.
Me and Chris are the biggest Newcastle fans on this channel.
Hey, let me tell you something. Sean,
Well
I
done,
always
million
let them.
times.
I always let anybody come on here and have their say. Whether they're busy or not, that's not my point. That's not my decision. Nobody here has ever been censored on their football opinions. And that's the bottom line. Ain't that right, fellas? I've never told you what to say. Never, ever, ever. Anyways.
I love Win.
Try it.
Well, no, they don't love each other. See you later, folks. Take care. Highway the lads.
Away the
How
lads.
are you, lad?